Let's get it. Let's get it. Welcome everybody back to yet another stream here today. It is good to see everyone. Let me get all my stuff prepared and ready to go here. Let me see. I think I messed up a little bit on something. We're fine. All right. I've got all my stuff ready here. We've got lots of stuff to get through, but I'm gonna have to wait for some people to show up. I'm thinking about whether I should just start watching stuff right away or whether I should first maybe play some games or something just while I wait for everyone. Let me check my audio. All right. I've got all my stuff ready here. We've got lots of stuff to get through. I think my audio is pretty good. Okay. Let's see. I'm not really sure if I want to wait. Oh, wait. Dude, is that you, Pedro? The gray M&M has already shown up. Bro, let me eat first. I don't know when you're eating, man. It'd be more alarming if I knew when you were eating. What's up, Pedro? Well, I mean, if you're here already, we're just going to get started like usual. Of course, you started when I began eating. Yeah, it's kind of like how every time freaking Caden over here, WX Analyst, gets done eating, Jesus. Now, you got the whole eating thing stuck in my head. Whenever he gets done bowling, then I stream every single time. Or he's in the middle of bowling. Like, he's bowling right now. Like, really? Damn! Asher's already here, too. What's up, guys? All right, we showed up real fast. That's probably because, well, first of all, the post has been open for, like, a minute. Second of all, I just made an extra post so everybody knew. And third of all, I did also like some comments and things, which probably alerted you through notifications and such. So, like, yeah, there were a lot of signs here. So, yeah, we're just going to get started right away if you two are already here. First things first, how's everyone's days going? See how everyone's doing. I'll eat first and then chat. That's fine. All right, just checking that. It's a little, the silence is a little bit eerie, but it won't be silent, obviously, once we start these videos. Real quick, before we start, I want to give a big shout out. And I've never watched any of this guy's videos, or at least not the guy we're on right now. I haven't watched any of his videos. I would check him out either way. His name's the Curl King, as you can see here. Shout out to him for making this video. I've watched almost. Okay, technically it's an uneven number, as you can see, but I've watched about halfway through the video. I haven't watched the full video because, you know, this is supposed to be a commentary, not like, oh, I read through all of this ahead of time. Then we got JD Vance humiliates UK official during trip over freedom of speech concerns. Then we got the war for the internet gets worse. Now, this is... what is this? This is Chibi Reviews, I think. Yeah, Chibi Reviews. I've watched some of his videos before. He's a really great YouTuber. All right, and then we got some stuff on Reddit, and then we'll check out some other stuff, I'm sure. Let's see. Don't worry, I'm eating a taco and watermelon, so it will be fast. I can't tell, Pedro, if you're trying to racially profile yourself or if that's just, like, conveniently what you're eating right now. I don't know. My day's all right, says Asher. All right. Let me think about my day. It's been very eventful, that's for sure. I've had a very busy few days. When is the sleeper agent gonna show up? Oh, yeah, I have no idea. If you're referring to Yukari, then probably soon, I would think. So I know I said I was going to do the Bigfoot stream last time, and I actually was going to do that today. I can't type. Don't worry, Pedro is much worse with typing than you are, Asher. It's that you're not even close. I mean, you missed one letter. I still understand generally what you're trying to say. Pedro's fine too. He gets a little silly sometimes. But I was planning on doing the Bigfoot stream, and I was fully intending to, and I was going to do it today. Instead, we're going to do it tomorrow. What I wanted to focus on today was I saw that the YouTube censorship was getting much, much worse. Now, we had a big W with President Trump passing that one executive order with the debanking and everything. That saved a lot of stuff on Steam and itch.io. Like, if you check out itch.io, a lot of their stuff's back now. Things like that, you know. And so I saw that. I thought that was a big win, right? And it was for gaming specifically, but for YouTube's still on this damn crusade, and My guess, I'm going to get more into this later, especially once everybody's here, but I'm just going to say this right away. My guess is it's some sort of, you know what I mean by a shadow organization? Something like that, okay? Because this is happening all at the same time, and I'm going to explain this later too, but I'm going to say it right now for you two that are already here, and anyone that's watching this in the future as a video. It's happening at the same time as the Epstein file investigation. It's happening at the same time as the UK's bullshit limitations of laws. And it's happening at the same time as Australia's bullshit limitations of laws, right? And so it's all happening in unison, which there can't be that much of a coincidence. Come on. That's ridiculous. Have you heard about the Roblox stuff going down? Oh, I've heard full well about it, but I mean, it's not really... I don't know if jurisdiction's the right word. It's not my field of focus, so I'm not really sure if there's much I can cover on it that hasn't already been talked about. You know what I mean, Asher? Like, I think it's, well, that's why you reminded me. It's literally 2 of these are in my recommended right now. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. I was like, huh. Yeah, I suppose that is an important topic. You know, you're looking at it. That would be why. Yeah, I don't know. We might check it out later if we're out of stuff to do. But, I mean, frankly, there's not really much I can say that hasn't already been said. Do I condemn them? Yeah, of course. But I don't really... Have you also heard about the Texas phone ban? You mean? I'm guessing you mean Texas phone ban. What's that entail? I haven't heard about that because I thought at first, because of the way in which the sentence was structured and skewed heavily, I thought you were going to be talking about ban as in like that. I always think of that anime ban, or not ban, anime bill. It relates to anime that they have in Texas right now. Somebody else just joined. What's up? And so, anyways, first of all, Pedro, I'm guessing I'm talking to Pedro right now. You never confirmed. Considering you are talking about Texas and your spelling is terrible, then I'm guessing it's Pedro. I believe, I'm almost positive it is. I'm 99% sure. So you could describe that to me. Yeah, what I was going to say, though, was I do condemn, whoever runs Roblox. But there's not really much I can say about it that hasn't already been said. So that's not really of my focus, right? But I can talk about censorship because I think that I can add a bit of my opinion. I think that you need more people speaking out against it, and I think you need a higher focus on it. And I might say something slightly different than someone else. They might say something slightly different from me, right? Because a lot of people are not as blunt as I am. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. In this case, it would be better to be blunt, right? With this kind of thing, I'm not personally invested in it, so, there's not really much emotion I can put into it, if that makes sense. So anyways, we're probably going to get started here, just one more minute or so. Let's see. What else am I going to preface ahead of time? Yeah, so I was looking at stuff, and I saw how bad the censorship was getting. I saw that the whole age verification BS had already started, and so I wanted to make a video about it. So I made a short about it earlier using that clip of Mysterio from Spider-Man Far From Home. And then now we're going to be watching some videos on it. Yes, it's me, Pedro, and the Texas phone ban is banning phones in high school. That's not really... I think that's happening in a lot of places, so that's not exactly new. So glad I'm out of that hell. Yeah, I know, Asher. Ain't that the truth? I wouldn't be quite yet, but I don't know. That doesn't really... When it came to high school, I never really decided to bring a phone into class. Most of the time, I wouldn't even bring one to school. A lot of people were under the idea of, you need a phone in case something happens. For me, there was no scenario I could picture in which I would possibly mandate one. And if it was, if it's an alien invasion or I get buried under a bunch of rubble, I'll just die. That's fine too, But in the meantime, that's a more random limitation of freedom, right there. But also, school is naturally a hell, especially in the American education system. So, I can't really express much surprise or shock in that regard. Because, first of all, it's Texas, and second of all, it's high school. So, You combine those together, and what do you get? You get the pit of Tartarus. Anyways, we're going to get started on the video here. One last shout out. This is from the Curl King. Go check him out later on. Not like right this second, because we're already watching one of his videos. And I'm going to pause it, talk through it, and then give my thoughts on what he's saying. So here we go. And also, one last thing. Tell me if the audio for me is too loud or too quiet, and then say if his audio is too loud or too quiet, and I'll adjust it. All right, here we go.
The age of censorship is upon us, and one of the first places we're seeing it is right here.
Hang on, what's he saying? Okay, Pedro just said, no, the Texas phone ban is a law, like you were going to get arrested. Yeah, that's, that would be some bullshit. There's a reason I don't live in Texas, yeah. They have very obnoxiously strict laws for no apparent reason down there. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to say other than that the law is ridiculous, or that law in particular, I mean. So, yeah, we'll go into some more political stuff later probably, but for now we want to focus on the censorship ban, and then we'll start to spread out.
On YouTube. As all of you know by now, I'm certain, YouTube has rolled out an AI age verification system that's only affecting a very small amount of people at the moment. However, it will begin to spread and spread and spread until it affects
like a wildfire,
everyone
yep.
in some way, shape, or form. Now, I'm here for two reasons. One is to tell you how you can avoid this entirely so that you don't have to fork up your personal information, your ID, your credit card, etc. And secondly, I want to show you guys what it looks like in this dystopian, restricted future on YouTube, because there actually is.
This is kind of a side tangent, but I think I'm not sure if I've said this before, but dystopias are probably my least favorite subgenre of fiction ever. I hate the idea of them. They're not fun. They're not entertaining. They just kind of bother me, right? Almost all dystopias are like that. I'm struggling to think of one besides maybe Terminator that is something that I like, you know? That's a side thought. On talking about things on track, yeah, it'll spread very quickly once they start enforcing this crap, unless it's stopped. And I mean, so far you've got hundreds of people talking out against it. However, a lot of the videos you actually can't find that are talking about it. Just like how you guys happen to be subscribed to me, and you happen to tune into all my streams and such, so you can see this. You notice what's not happening right now? You don't have a ton of people constantly joining. Now, sometimes, like when I was playing Thrawn's Revenge, you get 5-10 people that randomly tune in at a given moment, and then they leave, right? Or some of them would lurk around and just kind of linger, but they wouldn't talk and chat. This time around, you don't get that. And of course, that's not entirely due to any sort of censorship or whatever. But one more convincing case would be, I'm not sure, you guys remember that short I made where it was Barney and all the Care Bears, and they were in this guy's bathroom, and they were threatening him. And the whole short was about censorship, and then they blew the guy to pieces, and then at the end it said, censorship is for cowards, don't censor YouTube, right? Well, that short I made, they got 22 views. For context, the Killer Bean short that I made got 992, I think. It was like 990 or 980 or something. People saw that one. Then the one that one got like 300 views already. So it's dramatically reduced. So I think the algorithm does naturally limit what you do or don't see if it has to do with something bad that YouTube's doing, right? And that's all about silencing voice. What do you think that whole age verification thing is for in the first place, right? Because it's a weapon. And like any weapon, it must be sharpened first, right? And it works a little bit like this. You establish a rule. The rule, hang on, let's see. It's because Killer Bean is peak. Well, of course, but there's another short I had that got like 3,000 to 5,000 views or something, and it was some stupid Clone Wars clip that I just slapped together in like 3 minutes, right? But then a whole entire section that I made, essentially a whole video I made as a short, that got 22 views, right? And it was specifically the one talking about YouTube censorship. It wasn't any of the others. My mistake was putting censorship in the title. or it was something about restrictions, or maybe it was just putting YouTube in the title. I should have worded the title differently and then had the content of it different, but I digress. Oh, I remember that Barney video. Yeah, that thing was made, that's a short, and that got like 23 views. So that's really difficult. When I started the channel, the first short I did automatically had like triple that. So yeah, that's partially evidence right there. More so the case was the other thing I mentioned that I already figured out what I was talking about. Anyways, I lost my train of thought here. So we're just going to keep going. Unless, actually, I can watch back. Yeah, that's partially evidence right there. I don't remember what I was talking about. We're just going to keep the video going because I lost my train of thought.
A restricted mode that you can manually enable yourself, which is the same as the restricted mode that you'll be placed on if YouTube determines that you are under the age of 18, which is ridiculous, and you're not going to believe what you see. So many videos just simply disappear. Videos that you would think are definitely not inappropriate for someone under 18, maybe inappropriate for someone under 12, but that's why YouTube Kids exists. But anybody in their teens...
First of all, we got to roll back one of those images, okay? Let's roll that back, fellas.
Well, but that's why YouTube Kids...
What the hell is that? We all see that? The hell is that? Is that supposed to be Peppa Pig? I was a kid watching... Okay, not like all the time because I thought it was weird, but when I was like 3... there was Peppa Pig, but it didn't look like that. This is the Meat Canyon version right here. And what in Jesus' name is this? The hell is that? Look at that AI-generated bullshit right there. I don't even have a problem with AI-generated stuff, but this is what people think of when they think of AI-generated content. Let me look at this. Also, with all these age verification and needing to show your face and ID, the internet will be looking like Big Brother. Yeah, it's 1984. It's the general idea of it. And you already had the Patriot Act after 9/11, but the Patriot Act was not like, oh, hey, buddy, when you get online, make sure to tell me all your information and share it with God and everyone. How about kiss my ass? How about that, right? And even the Patriot Act is absurdly unconstitutional, right? And that's why you have all the bullshit in the airports and whatnot. You know, let's see. Oh, the hamster maze videos. Yeah, I don't know anything about YouTube Kids, so I don't know any. Like, you cannot tell me any of this is safe at all. Look at this. This is nightmare fuel.
Exists, but anybody in their teens approaching adult years absolutely has no need to be protected from this sort of content.
That reminds me of the other thing I was going to say. When I was, and I said this last time too, and I'm going to say it again, when I was the age they're thinking of for censoring content, I was like 5 and 6 years old, and I was watching Smosh and Mr. Gibbs. Smosh is not appropriate for children at all. Mr. Gibbs, not appropriate for, okay, he's, okay, scratching his current content back in about 2015, 2016, 2017, he was not kid-friendly as in, like, he wasn't something you'd watch with your mother looking over your shoulder, right? Because he would curse, he'd make sex jokes, things like that. He wasn't as obscene or, like, directly inappropriate as Smosh was, but he was still more on the side of, like, a little kid probably shouldn't be watching it. It didn't matter. You watched whatever. As long as you were not watching Vietnam executions or something on YouTube, there is no need to censor a video, or as long as it's not straight-up pornography or whatnot. Right, Asher can tell you all about that. And so as long as it isn't something just straight up obscene, then there's no reason to censor it from the eyes of children, right? I mean, if you look at children in the past, they didn't have a filter at all. They saw every horrifying thing. You could go You can go to the 1980s. Kids grown up in the 1980s probably saw horrible things in most areas unless they were pampered by everyone in a very particular area, usually rich, right? Otherwise, if you were in the United States, you were going to see terrible things, right? And the Cold War was still going on. And so you had the fear of that, you had the militarism, the nationalism of that time period. All that blended into one, we're going to go kick their ass, okay? Vietnam was in the 60s, 70s, early 70s, right? And so you had all of that combined into one. You didn't get all this pampered bullshit, right? Nowadays, it's not so much about the children being pampered so much as it is parenting just, it's taken a new form. It's not worse or better than it was before, because if you look at the past, parenting was god-awful. People would let their kids run around, do whatever they want, right? Their kids would commit crimes. They'd get hit by a car on the street. They'd do stupid stuff with their friends. They'd injure their friends, kill their friends. There's millions of stories to go off of, right? Every stupid thing you could imagine, they were doing outside because their parents just let them do whatever. Either that or their parents were beating them senselessly, and their child is basically just non-functioning, right? Or they'd make somebody hyper-aggressive and violent because they were abusive, right? Because corporal punishment was very common. Now, it's not quite the total opposite, but neglect has taken a new form because you have the internet. And so instead of releasing your kids outside and rolling a dice of whether they get killed or not, instead you're letting them watch whatever they want online, and you don't explain to them anything. Now, there's another category that I want to go into here, and that's intellect. Okay, let me cue the music here because we have a little chat. This is rant number 1. Okay, let me get the jazz going. All right, hit the jazz. All right, we're gonna get into a little chat here, fellas. Hope you're ready. Let me lower my volume a little bit. Okay, here's what we got to talk about. Let me put this in giant bold text so everybody fully knows what I'm talking about here. Children, humans in general, 95% of humans are morons. It's a fact. Check my audio. 95% of people are total and complete idiots. They function on a daily basis. They get up, they eat, they sleep, they drink, they go out, they go to school, they go to their work, whatever it is. They do what they need to do, then they go home, do a hobby, and they sleep, and their life cycle can be described very simply. Elena, what's up? Good to see you here. I'm not sure I've seen that profile before on one of these streams, so I'm going to consider this as a new face. Welcome in. Either that or you're somebody's partner, actually, because I remember that name. I believe I remember that name. I think so. We're going to keep going anyways. Anyways, you can telegraph the human lifespan and the average human life, and you could write it down on a small, very small breakdown of the common events, and you'd probably summarize about 80% of people's lives just like that, with slight deviations. The deviations being slight differences in personality, and of course the location. I'm Asher's girlfriend. I thought so, because I remember seeing you, or at least seeing your name typed out last time. He's sleeping now. Did he fall asleep in the middle of the stream? It's funny because WX Analyst did that. Did I say did that? I'm sorry, I meant does that. He does that every single stream. He's done it 5 streams in a row by now, and I've been keeping track. Well, glad to see you here then. Anyways, there's a specific term for this in psychology. I can't think of the term for it right now. Why can't I think of the term? it's okay. It's essentially a social timeline is what it refers to. I don't remember the exact name. Maybe social timeline is what I'm thinking of, but I don't think it's called that. Essentially, what this social timeline I'm describing is the common events that are going to occur in somebody's life at a relative point in time. So, for example, by age 3, you should be able to walk, right? By age 4, most people can talk, unless they're mute, of course. Well, I guess it still counts if they're mute. The timeline's the same, it just changes based on the individual. Then, let's say by age 16, you're expected to drive, right? Or at least in the United States, that's how it works. Age 18, you are now declared an adult in the United States. And then age 21, a lot of people are expected to drink because it's now legal. Now, that doesn't mean that you should or that you will drink, but that's how this timeline works. It's things that are culturally acceptable, right? It's essentially a cultural timeline for the individual. And then by age 30, most people are usually married. Now, it's going up in age now, in the United States at least, but I'm just giving a broad example, a broad generalization of how this timeline works. By age 40, you're expected to have children, usually 2, things like that, and it goes so on and so forth. By age, whatever the average age of death in the United States is, I think it's like 75 or so. By 75, you're expected to die, right? All of these things are on this social timeline for things people do in an average point in their life. So, essentially the point of this entire breakdown is each of these people are expected to change by what they're seeing. And so all this, they're influencing that in what you can see. What you can see, of course, changes perspective, it changes how you think of things, and a lot of these kids, they see too much too fast, but their parents don't actually spend time, a lot of these people's parents don't spend time with them, and so they end up imprinting off of people online. Usually things like TikTok, YouTube, things like that, and then they grow an attachment to people, and they idolize them, and then they replicate their behavior. This explains how slang and things appear. Slang that sounds very annoying and repetitive. It's parrotry is what it's called, right? Where somebody mimics a word or phrase repeatedly. People do that with slang because they're mimicking behavior they see online. Okay, and so children now are influenced by a lot of that, but it's not just children, it's everyone. And it's not just everyone, it's a bigger problem with individuals that aren't the brightest. And so my general point with this is, people live their common life, and they do the same thing. It's like whatever the quote was from Agent K in Men in Black, does anyone remember that? Where he explains, essentially, that what was it? Humans are smart, people are stupid. They're jumpy, erratic, however he described it, I don't remember the quote. That's essentially the explanation. And so because my main point with all this is, most people are idiots. And because they're idiots, they can do their common thing, they can go along, do whatever it is they normally do, but nothing significant comes out of the individual. They're kind of just a part in a machine is how the entire thing functions. And so most people are easily influenced. That's why propaganda works, that's why news and media work. It's general persuasion. That's how people get elected, etc. Is because people are not hard to convince because they're not hard to figure out. And so with all of this, it only works if the individual is an idiot. But because most individuals are idiots, most individuals are easily influenced. This is not about stopping YouTube videos influences or any sort of influence from an outside source. It's just so they can influence you in the way that they see fit, right? Just like the whole payment processor thing on Steam and itch.io is, well, we're going to censor all of your games so that you can see what we think is normal, right? It's all according to belief, and everything's a matter of perspective. It's, oh, well, I think this is how it should be, so this is the law now, right? And remember, most people, I'd say a good 85% of people, no, not 85, that's generous, okay? I'd say a good 95% of people, 98% is probably more accurate. If they were put in a position of power, they'd do the exact same thing after a few months at least, okay? Actually, a few months at most is the best way to word that, because they could do it in days, they could do it in minutes, right? Where they try to control how people think, because most people don't like criticism, right? And so if you're uploading criticism about somebody, they're going to shut it down. That's why dictatorships exist. Well, only cowards are dictators, because they can't stand criticism. They know they're not going to be reelected or brought back in because they're not charismatic or intelligent enough to sustain their position in a normal way that is supported by the people instead of being supported by brute force, right? It's Lord of the Flies. It's savagery versus civilization. It's basic human instinct versus, more advanced and evolved mentality. That's why fundamentalism, a lot of fundamentalist countries, no offense, but they're not the most advanced physically in terms of physical technology or in their mentalities, hence why they're constantly fighting amongst each other. They have limited resources, limited influence, and they don't contribute to any major advancements over time. You want to know why? Because their general structure is not evolved past that. And that's all because of the people, and it's because of who's ruling them. That's why poverty, disease, what else? Housing, everything, warfare, all of those are problems in the same countries you've heard of 1,000 times, in same regions of the world, because their structure of government is all led by a single individual with only their best interest in mind. Now, of course, there are still massive problems with democracy, including mass corruption, but the idea of democracy is that you can still do what you want, and everything is still determined by the people. The people can be idiots, but it's more like a dice roll. It's like flipping a coin versus flipping a coin, but your head's being held at gunpoint, so then you just flip the coin back over once it lands. It's like that. Anyways, we're going to continue because the rant's over now. Let me turn off the music because, I don't want it to distract. There we go. Okay, let's get on with the video. Sorry for talking your ear off.
To give you a quick example right now, about 90% of my very own videos disappear the second I enable that restricted mode. Take a look. So restricted mode is enabled now, and as you'll notice, I have 327 public videos, and there's 27 remain.
He's got 327 videos. 27 remain. He said 27, right? Not 23. I believe he said 27. So that means 300 of his videos are inaccessible. Let me increase my volume a little bit. 300 videos, ladies and gentlemen. That is unbelievable. So for context, the whole age verification thing is not based on, is this for kids or is this not for kids? Because, let me tell you, when you upload a video, it asks you, yes, this is for kids. No, this is not for kids. All of my videos have the no, this is not for kids selected. You want to know why? Because I'm not uploading it to YouTube Kids, right? Or at least I believe that's where it goes to when you click that. Also, damn, that's crazy. Yeah. And so whenever you select that option, I never select yes, this is for kids, because even though most of my stuff is pretty family friendly, okay, recently it's been less so, especially with Yukari. We all know what he's been doing. However, generally you could watch most of my videos, especially my Gmod videos, and a kid could watch it and be fine, right? But I don't put yes, this is for kids, because I don't want my target audience to be a bunch of half-developed, half-brained children. 300 is a big number. Right. I mean, that's your channel erased from history. That's not even the Infinity Stones snapping away half the universe. That's 90% of the universe. That's the universe gone, basically. There's no chance to repopulate from that. And so, when you get that kind of thing, that just removes your content entirely. They might as well took his channel down on restricted mode. And so, let's say my channel in 2 months, can you picture restricting my channel? Dude, you'd remove 90% of my videos, because I just say whatever. My chat says whatever, and I don't care whatever people say, because it's the right to say it. right? I mean, scattered throughout my Gmod videos, roleplay videos. I'm making jokes. I'm making drug jokes. I'm blowing people's heads off. And I give nonchalant reactions to it. It's amusing, right? Because one trait that's kind of shared amongst my Gmod videos is the nonchalance to violence. You could kill 200 people, and then the main character I'm playing as will just be like, huh, that's kind of funny. And so the way they treat it, they're not going to treat that like it's for kids, right? Now, of course, that's assuming they have even gone over it with a bot, but it doesn't exactly take much effort to do so. All right, let's see. Isn't Yukari, or however you spell it, the drug dealer? He's not literally a drug dealer. He just jokes about it. No, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, Yukari joked about making, what was it? He said Nazi meth, which doesn't exist. Describing it with more adjectives does not change whatever it is. Yeah, he joked about cooking meth, though. It was false, but I don't know. Yukari does some weird crap, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Honestly, if he did, I wouldn't care as long as he doesn't advertise it in my chat.
90% of my videos have just up and vanished just like that after enabling restricted mode.
What the hell was that video he had? Holy Jesus Christ. Oh, goody. God, I just realized there was music in that advertisement. I really hope that doesn't
And we're going to look at a few
pop
more
up in my
examples
copyright
of this shortly, so you guys can grasp the gravity
do it every
of this
live
and
stream,
how much
man.
it will affect you if you are restricted. So basically, if you watch content like mine, similar to mine, Penguin Z0, August the Duck,
yeah, I saw Penguin Z0's
even,
video
you're
on
likely
that.
to see a lot of content vanish right before your very eyes unless you fork over that biometric data. But before it comes to that, let me explain to you how you might be able to prevent this from happening to you if it is something you may be concerned about. Now, if you're
to answer his question before he answers it, hang on, what is this? Wait, is the Yukari guy trying to force you and us to watch Girls on Panzer? He's not, I mean, he's recommended it multiple times, but he can't force us to do anything inherently. I did get Uma Musume after he asked me to get it because it's free. But that's because it's free and doesn't cost money. I'm not buying a damn Crunchyroll subscription so I can watch a show. I guess I could watch it on High Anime, but I'm in the middle of Your Lie in April, so I'd rather just tell him to screw off. What is this? Only an anti-tank cannon can get through this armor? An anti-tank cannon... am I the only one who thinks the stuff like that is a good comedy? What? I'm confused. Oh, that's why the name sounded familiar. I'm confused of the context. There doesn't seem to be much context here. It seems to just be abrupt. Oh, by the way, WX Analyst is supposed to show up here in like 7 minutes, just so you guys know. However, I'm hoping he doesn't fall asleep. He's supposed to be doing homework, apparently. Don't ask me why he's doing homework at 10 o'clock on a Saturday, but yeah. Okay, we're going to proceed. I believe I was going to mention... Here, let me look at where we're at. Right, to answer his question before he actually answers it, not that it's a question so much as a statement that he's just leading into and building up to like an advertisement, but never mind. To answer it, don't go on commando mode, okay? No more private tabs, my friends. If you want to look up whatever inappropriate stuff you want, if you want to look up Asher's content, don't put it on private. Just Google it, select it on YouTube, watch whatever you want, make sure it's absolutely terrible, and they'll know you're above the age of 18. I would be joking if that wasn't exactly how the bot system works, the AI that goes over the verification. Essentially, it looks at what you watch on YouTube and determines whether you're a child based on your interests. Now, if that doesn't sound discriminatory to you, then I don't know what to tell you, right? Because somebody could let's say they like collectibles, and YouTube thinks that collectibles are for little bitches, then they're going to take down your content and suddenly you're below the age of 18. Like what? Same thing with Pokemon. If you watch Pokemon YouTubers, you could be 40 years old and you get sent to the Shadow Realm because, wait, you're a little kid and suddenly this is too much for you, right? That's right. No more has-been hotel. What's this? Let's see. The clip is better. Trust. Elena, huh? And I was talking about. You didn't finish your sentence, Pedro. It's fragment. Thanks for reminding me. That makes me. What? Oh, thanks for reminding me that he makes the funny. I'm confused. Oh, wait. That's for me because I like and watch Transformers review. Oh, right. I mentioned that to Pedro a little bit ago, a couple streams ago. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, because you watch Transformers stuff. Generally, a lot of that's considered to be kids stuff for some reason. So then you would be a subject to that. So I would also mix a little bit of like Harem Hotel in or something. I don't know. The Eminence in Shadow. I would say X-Men, but I don't know. They might count that superhero stuff as that as well. Now, for me, I should be fine because, let's see. Braveheart, Shawshank Redemption, Breaking Bad, High Anime, Accidental Redirects. I should be fine. I don't know if that means that, which is kind of ironic because, you know, given the whole age structure, it would assume that I'm older than I am rather than younger, but most people, it would assume they're younger. That just goes to show how faulty the system is. It's not manual either. And just keep in mind, if it was manual, it's going to be used as a weapon. I remember that thing that I forgot like 20 minutes ago. They're sharpening this as a weapon. It works kind of like laws. Think of, here, we're going into rant number 2, so we're turning the music on. This is what I do on live streams. Think of it like a gun law, okay? Let's say they put a law out and they say, hey, you can't have anything that's bigger than this, okay, this given measurement. Most people are going to say, well, this is a handgun, so it's allowed. Now, of course, they could have what is essentially an AR in their hands and claim it's a handgun with a brace, but it's limiting their ability to be free with the Second Amendment because you have that law in place. Now, it might not seem like a big deal at first, but let's say you go somewhere and you have a gun that you paid for and somebody really doesn't like you and they're a cop. Now, they technically have the authority to say, hey, that gun that you have there is illegal. Now, it might be within the confines of what is technically allowed by other rules, but because of that vague rule that they have over here, you could be punished for something that's not inherently against the law. It's hard to describe a particular example because the main basis of this is that it's vague. They insert vague rules to things because vague means you can target whoever the hell you want. Think of it this way. If I made a rule against... I'm going to make this simple, but don't think that I'm trying to make a point about immigration laws. Think about immigration. If I make a rule that says if you look slightly darker than the average person or slightly lighter than... Hang on, what's this? He woke up, my job here is done. Bye, chat. Oh, bye, Elena. Or is it Elena? Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. And welcome back, Asher. That's another thing. Yes, the rant. Yeah, Pedro's on with the rant. All right. So let's say we have immigration policy. Let's say if they're lighter than the average person, however that would look like, or darker than the average person of the country, however that would look like, then you are allowed to remove them from the country. Or let's say they are now forced into colored bathrooms. Well, if you don't like somebody, then you can use that as a specific target against them to say, well, you see, they have this one birthmark right here that makes them darker, and therefore I'm allowed to remove them. Okay? That's what we're talking about. And so the same thing works. Welcome back, Asher. The same thing works for censorship. If I don't like somebody that's making videos, then I'm going to go, oh, whoops. Looks like I found out that you've been talking to minors, or looks like you're below the age of 18, buddy, and then they banish you to the shadow realm because they don't like you. This is a weapon. They're sharpening it like a weapon. A weapon will not be used against you instantaneously, most likely, but it will be in the future if you don't do what they want. It's a gun held to the back of your head. They may not pull the trigger, but they can. And the idea that they can is what keeps people in line. It's a fear tactic, in other words. And so this is a constant sharpening of that blade so they can use it whenever they want. And it's pretty much a typical suppression technique. Also, just so you guys know, I seem to be very foggy today. I'm stuttering a lot. I can't really think very well. And I seem to have reduced memory capacity. So there's that. So I may kind of ramble on a little bit, or might say something that sounds dumb if it's worded. If I say something that sounds stupid, you can ask me to not preface. See, I'm doing it right there. Elaborate. That's the word I'm looking for. You can ask me to elaborate on it, and I'll try to think of a better way to word it. I'm not sure if it's exhaustion.
You're somebody that enjoys a lot of content that, for instance, doesn't disappear when you turn on that restricted mode, like Pokemon videos, Fortnite videos, anything that might be tailored to a younger audience, then you better start watching more of my videos. Kind of joking, kind of not, but seriously, you do need to make sure to have a positive...
Okay, hang on, I'm gonna read the chat, but first let me turn the music off. Alright, let me check out this. That's why... Hello again, Asher. That's why you don't understand some of the comments that me and Elena typed. Excuse me, you didn't. What? That's why you don't understand some of the... Why is it that I don't understand the comments? I don't... I don't get it. There's no context given to the thing that's supposed to give context. Huh. I'm gonna keep going now.
Watch
chat's getting weird,
as YouTube called it. So a history that shows that you're into that mature shit, that cool kid stuff, you know? You don't watch all that young kids content. If you do
that's
that,
my point.
Unfortunately, you're gonna have to do
it's called typing full sentences.
AI age verification
full sentences give context for itself.
Now, there's a few ways to go about this.
I admired Hulk Hogan.
You know, videos like mine, like I said, that YouTube considers to be for a more adult audience. Or you can even go out of your way to find age-restricted videos, which might be difficult to do.
Trump's executive order just ended censorship in video games and more.
Now, this is a music video, which might shock you. The reason why is there just literally like a sex scene in this very video.
What?
Uncensored. Only recommending this if you are in fact an adult. It's a quick scene. It's a music video, but I know it's age restricted. It's the only video I know for certain that is age restricted. Because the thing is, most people
don't
upload
rest yourself, man.
videos because it takes away.
Bro, I'm telling you, I do not sleep. Let me count the number of hours I've slept in each individual day. Also, it's an interesting image here. Okay, let's see. So, the transition between Tuesday and Wednesday, it was probably a total of 3 hours. Okay, then after that, we've got the transition between Wednesday and Thursday. I say transition because it's always like 1 or 2 in the morning. So then Wednesday to Thursday, that was about 4 hours. Then transition from Thursday to Friday, that was about 3 hours. Then the transition between Friday to today was about 7 hours. Wait, what is that song? I don't know. He said it was age restricted, so it was an example of something to look up for the verification to consider you above the age of 18. Because you were watching the video, which implies you're an adult because it has a sex scene in it. And because I don't understand the rationale of the verification, because if a kid clicked on it to make themselves seem like an adult, you got the child to click on something with pornography that they wouldn't have clicked on if there wasn't the threat of considering them a child. You know what I'm saying here? You forced their hand into doing it because the children don't want to be restricted, and neither do any of the adults. So you got the children to click on stuff they wouldn't have clicked on before because they're trying to avoid detection. I don't get it. Gross ass song. I don't know, man. I haven't listened to it. I don't know what it is.
Monetary value from the video, and also YouTube tends to make it a lot harder for that video to get views. So there isn't much age-restricted content on the platform. But if you do go watch an age-restricted video, again, I'm not necessarily recommending this one. But if you don't care that there's a sex scene in it, you know, power to you if you want to use it. Again, this is legally on YouTube
lot of
right
scenes
now,
from
so
that,
according
then.
to them, it doesn't break their terms of service.
Just don't click on anything SpongeBob. That kind of sucks that I can't do that.
Now, let's take a look at this.
That reminds me, the freaking, a part of the, now it's not every single one of them, it's specifically the video titled Amazing Soundtrack of Death Note. That video is counted as YouTube Kids, so you can't watch that. I don't get that. It's Death Note. It's not for kids at all.
Is YouTube's own words. When the system identifies a teen user, will automatically apply
Heard that Hell of a Boss fans are weird, and that is true, Asher.
Disabling personal
I don't know, it gets weirder than Asher. Yukari's weirder than he is.
Safeguards to recommendations, including limiting repetitive views of some kinds of content. What they don't mention here is like the specifics of like the digital well-being tools, but that includes like a reminder that you've been watching YouTube for too long, and obviously that restrictive mode that stops you from seeing certain content, which will once again take a look at some examples. So if you're an enjoyer of Penguin Z0 like myself, you would be really disappointed to see all of these wonderful videos disappear for your very eyes. You guys want to see a magic trick? Watch this. Oop, there it goes.
Damn!
So many videos vanish right away. You know, these are from, he posts like once a day usually, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. 4 days ago, 1 month.
Oh, that
1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
That just neutered his channel. Look at this. So, like he said, Penguin Zo0, he posts a video or two basically every day or so. This is months of videos gone. Look at this. 4 days ago. These are within probably same couple of days. This is 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That's every day but one in every month taken as a video. That's incredibly that's egregious. I was gonna say that's incredibly ridiculous, but I'm not sure if that is properly articulated.
4 months. This guy literally posts at least a minimum of 30 videos a month, which means that if you're only seeing one video from a month, 29 at the minimum of his videos are missing.
That is
every single month. At least 29 of his videos are missing or so, which is an insane amount. Now let's come peek August the Duck over here. Let's do the same thing.
The
little magic trip, a little bibbity bobbity boop, and here we go. Tons of videos gone. Now August posts about 3 times a week, so roughly 10 times a month.
Okay. Let's look at his videos that aren't restricted, and let's look at the videos that are. Let's take a look. The strangest TikTok I've seen in a while. Look at this. I want everybody to focus their attention on this video here. YouTube's worst policy change is coming. Now look what happens when he restricts it. That video isn't here. But look at what video is still here. Man plays victim after leaving daughter to die. Tell me what's wrong with this, everybody. Tell me what's wrong with this thing here. This detail of restriction. I'll wait. Let's see. Pedro said August the Duck excitedly with 4 exclamation marks, so he clearly knows who this is. It's gone. Well, of course, the other one's gone. But what is it you notice about what's gone and what's still here? This is the perfect representation of what the problem is with this policy. Because this policy is not about protecting anybody from seeing anything they're not supposed to. It is about control. And this is the most blatantly obvious example of that you could possibly show. I'll wait till I see one more comment in chat. I'll see what you guys think about it. I'll wait on you. Because I want you guys to try to figure this out individually. I mean, I'm going to point it out completely after this anyways, but it's like before. Let me try to get the before shot. Before, after. With YouTube, and the reason it's gone because YouTube controlling their videos, well, that's clear. Yeah, I mean, we know that they're doing that. It's gone very loose. Oh, you already said it? Yeah. Asher is close, very loose. The regulation on this, the restriction, not regulation, the restriction on this is extremely limited. But it's not just, not limited, not at all limited. I meant to say loose. It is extremely loose. You see, the loose and vague definition of restricting things that are quote-unquote inappropriate is what you think is inappropriate. This video is about a blatantly violent topic. Look at the thumbnail. You're treating me like a murderer. So a child, because this is the restricted version of it. This is what the child can access. This is what the adults are allowed to access. YouTube's worst policy change. So the video criticizing YouTube without any violence or likely any cursing or limited cursing has been removed in restricted mode, but the video with a blatantly violent concept has not. There you go. There you go. That just blatantly shows it. Right there. It's very simple. They're removing the content criticizing the company and criticizing the website, but they're not removing content that they're saying they're going to remove. The second video is also about racism. Right. This is about racism. And look at this. The strangest TikTok. This has been removed. Coworker music is taking over. I think this one's still here. Let me see. Yeah, that one's still here. Hang on. No shot. Pun intended. She shot someone on stream. That one's gone. Okay. So that one's still there. Let me see. What? Poisons food for a prank, gets arrested is in the restricted version. But
Bobbity boop, and
he didn't scroll down, so I didn't get to see the other videos.
And
so poisoning, death, okay, basically, essentially intended murder, and what else? And racism. Nothing about this is restricted. But the video criticizing YouTube is immediately gone. It's about control. It is not about protecting anybody's eyes from seeing anything they're not supposed to. It's very
the
clear.
video's gone. Now, August posts about 3 times a week, so roughly 10 times a month. As you'll notice, there are gaps in the months here where there's no posts at all. Anything he posted 3 months ago, gone. Anything he posted 5 months ago, gone.
I don't even want to know what my channel would look like. Bro. No shot. No shot. This is the restricted version. We got Diddy in the restricted version of the channel. We got Mr. Beast in the restricted version of the channel. And it's about his lawsuit. Look at what else we got here. Censoring the truth. Body cam footage.
In between.
What? I did not. Guys. Where is it? This video is short, so it's hard to get to the proper area.
Content in between.
I don't need to say it. Look at this. Should we count it up, fellas? Should we count up how many egregious topics have been unrestricted? Let's see. They've restricted anything overtly relating to YouTube. They've restricted anything about anything bad about YouTube has been restricted. But what isn't restricted is a video about somebody leaving their own child for death. We've got ideas of racism. We've got a video talking about Diddy. We've got the Mr. Beast lawsuits and censorship. And we've got this. The most disturbing account on Instagram. This is what the children can see. This is the restricted version. But the regular version, they got rid of the stuff that was normal. They got rid of the normal stuff, and now it's all the weird shit. Let's see. Let's see what Pedro's saying. The video with the old guys about a company not caring about their coworkers die from a flood and posting a YouTube apology video. I'm an R34 artist, and that's horrible, says Asher, even for me. Dog. What is there to say? This is not about protection. Put that in giant text. This is not protection. It is restriction. Censorship works in a very simple way. Cowards use censorship so they can ignore whatever it is they're being criticized for. It is not about anything positive. And mind you, they're letting them see this for the blatant idea that it's getting this concept in their head. It's drilling this into their mind. It's the weird stuff is all allowed, but nothing normal. The normal stuff is not accessible anymore. Asher, Jesus Christ, spell Pedro, spell. You guys are having fun.
Lastly, we'll look at my Omni King channel, and this is crazy to me, seeing just how all of my content basically vanishes. Yep.
Damn.
Hey everyone, big heads up, Paleo Valley's running a sale
come
on
on.
all their meat sticks right now. You can get 30 sticks.
Dude, that is
36
disturbing.
We are left with 9 videos out of my 101.
Damn.
Yeah. About 90% of my videos, poof, gone, vanished.
How many? 101? Is that what he said? And 9 videos are left?
Super adulty content. Yes, it does
That's
tend
80
to appeal to older
Tony,
people.
that's
not
80
so much
something videos
children or
gone, right?
teenagers, but there are teenagers in my audience, and I don't think I've
90
ever
or is that 94?
made a video that was just so
100.
unbelievably inappropriate for
Wait,
them.
so that'd be
They actually
92.
Shouldn't watch it.
I
think
can't
a
do math right now.
17-year-old
I did the
can
math. I
handle
figured it
a little
out.
bit
I
of
just
swearing
didn't do it
and some slightly mature themes.
So that's
But
92
just me, and
videos
if anything, that should be up to
erased
parents to
from the
determine
planet.
whether or not their child can consume that content.
92
or
of
not,
his videos
not
are gone.
goddamn YouTube or any government for that matter. But anyway, going forward, if you guys don't want this to affect you, you might want to maybe make a second channel if you want to watch like content that might appeal to younger people for just a little while until this whole thing maybe blows over, so you don't have to fork
blows.
up
Anytime
information.
somebody
If you wanna
says
watch
something's
some
gonna blow
Pokemon
over, then I
videos or
just
some
think it's gonna
Fortnite
last
videos,
as long as
etc.
possible.
It goes without saying.
You know, it's like an
this is
apocalypse.
extremely concerning.
I really hope this
is
whole
obviously done
whole zombie
quite a bit
thing
of
blows
damage
over.
to YouTube's reputation.
Then everything
Nobody
goes to
likes
hell
this
immediately.
change. A lot of people are
The
trying
wildfire
to boycott
virus.
it, fight against it, stand up and voice their concerns about it. And then the creators themselves might also suffer immensely. I mean, imagine how many people might not be able to view Penguin Z0's content. I mean, I know the guy gets so many views that he probably wouldn't care. But smaller creators like
He'd
myself,
care, he
you
just
know,
wouldn't
obviously
be
most people
financially
lie about their
endangered by
age
it.
on YouTube. Because my audience says that only like 1.7% of the people that watch my channel are under the age of 18. I severely doubt that. I think most of them probably just have accounts that say they're over 18, but
Yeah,
they're not
nobody
actually.
says their
And
actual
so because
age
of the
on-
chains, there's the
online.
possibility
That's
that a lot
just
of
not
those
happening.
people may not see any of my
It's like
content.
it's like a
going
Vulcan
forward,
life or
which
something.
would be a detrimental blow to my channel, along with many other small channels that make similar content. Or we're gonna have to start censoring ourselves or being extremely careful, walking on eggshells about everything we say in videos, and that is a very bleak, sad, dystopian future for us all. Also, consider purchasing my book, The Elevator Man,
Oh, he's got a
horror
book?
mystery novel, available on Amazon. I promise you.
Oh,
if you
dude,
like
that's
this sort of
sick.
genre, this sort of content, you will not be disappointed. This
guy's got a
See you
book,
guys
too?
next time.
What do you say it was called? Sorry, it was Elevator. Was it The Elevator Man?
Content. Or we're gonna have.
I was surprised by the
facilitate
fact that he had a book and I wasn't listening to what it's called. Yeah, it was the elevator man. Okay, I guess I was listening. I just wasn't certain. Hang on. Let me look up his book real quick. The elevator man. Oh, wrong thing. Book. Nice. Dude, that's sick. Let's see. Also, the parents have their FYP around kid stuff because they have kids. The parents can't see what's happening. A lot of that is incoherent, so I'm struggling to put together what you mean by that. Was that your origin story? Alright. If FYP is supposed to be an acronym, then if it's not capitalized, I can't tell if it's an acronym or not. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so, anyways, I know it took a while to get through that video, even though it's only 8 minutes and 33 seconds. But that's the point of free use, is that you're supposed to be talking over things, giving commentary, and making it your own, right? So once again, let me like the video. I don't have the link right now, or at least while this video is, or the stream is live. However, once the video, or once it's turned into a video, then I'm going to put the links for all these videos and stuff in the description so you guys can check it out. Go check out the Curl King later on. This guy's video is pretty great, and he definitely has a lot of detail added to this. He's got a lot of videos, too. And he seems pretty hardworking. He's got 28.8 thousand subscribers. And, considering he's got 2 channels with hundreds of videos, underrated for sure. And he wrote a book, too. So, this guy, he's at least, he's got diversity in his skills. That's for certain. So, I'd check this guy out. Massive thanks for his video. He's fighting the good fight. We're moving on to another, actually, we're going to go to this first. By Chibi Reviews. Let me like the video real quick. I'll also have his link in the description later on. We're going to watch his next because it's the most relevant. Then we're going to go to the one about the UK's freedom of speech, and then we'll check out some other stuff. Let's see. FYP for you page. Oh, that makes more sense. Like I said, if it's an acronym, acronyms are, capitalized so you can tell it's an acronym. Let me see. Also, the parents... a lot of time also have their For You page around kid stuff because they have kids. The parents can't see what's happening. Yeah, I never saw that. A lot of that stuff requires like family accounts and things. If your kids have their own separate account or just don't have an account at all and have a separate device, then they can just go out and check out other stuff. For me, I never, of course I do now, but I didn't have a phone for a while. Not till I was 14 or something, or 15. So I always used a Kindle. Now, Kindles are naturally meant for reading books, like ebooks. However, I used the Kindle for everything but reading books. Or at least I read online, and I did research and stuff, but I wouldn't read, stuff on the actual Kindle Amazon store. And so anyways, I would always watch my YouTube videos on there, and it was totally autonomous. So I was watching Smosh, Mr. Gibbs, Venturian Tale, stuff like that. From wherever I was. Let's see, Asher, have you seen that Zelda video where it says day whatever of animation and it's her doing face emotions? Was that your origin story? I don't even want to know what you're describing. We're gonna start on the next video. This is from Chibi Reviews. Give him a like. Go check him out after the stream. Not right this second, maybe. Let's get started on the video. As you can see, I'm already 23 seconds in. I wanted to watch the first few seconds of it to know what I was getting into. So I made sure that this was on topic. All right, let's get started. This guy does some anime content as well, or at least talks about anime. So he's pretty on brand for me. All right, let's see.
How did we get to this point to where a real-life government is now classifying, and I'm not joking when I say this, the One Piece Straw Hat Pirate flag as a terrorist symbol? How have we gotten here?
It's treated as a terrorist symbol.
Summarize just
it's from One Piece
that has happened now in the last 2 weeks, and this is a very quick summary. Okay, I'm gonna speed run this. It started off with Collective Shout screaming at Steam and itch.io to get them.
Okay, maybe he had an abrupt cut. in the video, but I'm wondering why that was cut. It seemed like a cut, as a matter of fact, because look at this transition. I thought something happened to my computer. Let me go back.
In the last 2 weeks, and this is a very quick summary, okay? I want to speed run this. It started off with
okay, maybe there was just a weird
screaming at
glitch.
Steam and itch.io
Seems normal now.
to get them to remove games, okay? Hundreds upon hundreds of games, thousands.
So you just wanted to do it for the money then and not press?
Then, days after that, UK releases the Online Safety Act,
you're talking to
and
Asher.
they effectively neuter the entire internet and force you to verify through ID and just basically dox yourself to even be able to get on the internet, all in the sake of protecting kids. However, within 24 hours of the Online Safety Act coming into effect in the UK, you have the government create
Would you look at that? It's the usual suspects. We got the United Kingdom over here against anyone who speaks against illegal immigration on social media. Would you look at that? The country currently known for the most egregious anti-freedom of speech acts and laws, essentially, ever in the modern day, besides Iran, North Korea, China, and not really sure if there are others to think of. I know South Korea's got strict laws, but I don't know if it's really like anti-freedom of speech. I'm not really sure. Oh, there you are. What's up, WX analyst Caden Barker? It's good to see you, friend. You're a bit late, just by let's see. You said 10:15, so you're about let's see, you're 26 minutes late, but we're fine. All right. Oh my God, I'm so honored to meet you. It is the one and the only WX analyst, Caden Barker. Clap that up. I know you joined on a terrible moment because here we got anti-migrant posts that are being suppressed by the godforsaken police force of the United Kingdom. Now, of course, I can talk all that smack simply because I live in the United States, which is independent from Great Britain. So, kiss my ass. Anyways, we're going to proceed. We're going to get more into Britain later, fellas. Don't worry. I've heard that you fall asleep midstream. Yeah, he's done it 4 or 5 times now.
They have opinions that they disagree with. Like, for instance, if it's a political opinion they don't like you saying, or if it's you talking about a topic they don't want you to talk about, they're going to go up to your door and they're going to arrest you.
Yeah, the UK actually does that. Germany does that too.
Hours. Then after that, we have literally a politician on live television admitting that, yes, they wanted to make this law, the Online Safety Act, to monitor adults and censor free speech of adults. Straight up admitted it. On live television, we all saw it. I played it in a video, a few days ago. Then we go past that and we get into the situation with everything else, with Wikipedia getting forced to censor itself or bow down. You have UK government basically requesting the United States, different companies and sites and businesses to censor themselves in accordance with the UK law of the Online Safety Act. You have actual politicians within America basically saying we don't like this, but then we find out that America has this COSA Act, Kids Online Safety Act, which pretty much does the exact same thing as the UK. It is literally pretty much what they're doing right now. There is the Screen Act, that is the exact same thing, but it's just under a different name, and so you have two different laws in the United States government trying to
Let me tell you something, fellas. The UK can run around with their BS laws and stupid whatever they come up with, whatever their conduct is, they can run around and do whatever the hell they want. The US will not make decisions based on the UK. Right, especially not now, because Trump, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a video, any at all, with Trump standing next to Starmer, but he respects him about as much as you would respect the mosquito that bites you, okay, when you go outside. That's about as much as Trump respects him. And so the UK has zero influence over the United States in this aspect. Now, the scary part is if this pops up in Israel. The reason I say that is because Israel seems to have a lot of, especially secret, influence over the United States. Now, how much there is, nobody really knows, but it's pretty clear that they have a lot of heavy hands and a whole lot of heavy pockets. Okay, and so if it pops up there, it's going to pop up here. If it pops up here on its own, people are going to rip it apart. It will be torn down like a cardboard house, like a sand castle made by a 3-year-old, okay? And so it won't be a threat if it naturally originates here. But if it pops up from another country and spreads like an illness, then it's going to be a problem, okay? Now, the reason you don't hear about this crap in China is because China does not use the excuse of doing it for kids. You want to know why? Because it's a freaking, damn it, I can't think of the term for it. I'm wanting to say dictatorship, but dictatorship I'm not sure is even the right term here, okay? It's an authoritarian state is my point. China is it is a communist authoritarian state. Now, that is not to insult China itself, all right? Now, of course, I live in the U.S., so naturally I'm a little bit more biased and negative in my opinion of China as a government structure, not the country itself, not the people, but simply the government itself. I'm a little bit more opposed to their ideology, but they don't use the same BS excuse as the West does. They don't use the whole protect the kids. You want to know why? Because they can do whatever the hell they want and no one can stop them. And you know what? I respect that. I respect the fact that they don't hide any form of aggression, okay? And that's the best part. When you have a structure, okay, that is constantly lying to you, you don't know when they're lying and when they're not. And so if they're not lying, it could be more dangerous than if they are lying, because then nobody will believe them and something bad might happen. Or it's the opposite, right? And it's usually the opposite. Everyone loves to lie, specifically corporations and the governments. They love lying, and they lie all the goddamn time. And it sucks because you can never trust anything they do or say. And so it puts you in a constant state of fear. If you look at a country like China or Iran, they don't sugarcoat it. They tell you, hey, we have the authority to screw you, and we own you, so you can't do this. They keep it straight. It's kind of like a teacher that tells you that they're chill and that they don't care what you do. But then, let's say somebody starts talking for 0.2 seconds and the teacher gets mad, right? The teacher is going to lie to you. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be a relaxed class and it's going to be fantastic. And then you get in the class and it's the most miserable piece of shit you've ever had to attend, okay? That's what I'm talking about. That is worse than if you got into the class and the teacher said, hey, I'm very strict, so this is how we're going to play things. Okay, now, of course, assuming they're not just straight up beating you, okay, then the person that is more honest about their intentions is usually better to go along with because you trust that they're not going to abruptly stab you in the back and everything collapse. It's kind of like, think of it like having a law currently existing versus not having a law currently existing and then it pops up in the future. So, for example, I have a YouTube channel. So let's go with that as our foundation here. Currently, I can make Gmod videos, right? Now, assume that Gmod videos, it's a hypothetical, assume that Gmod videos are now banned from YouTube. It would be worse for Gmod videos to be banned after I've already made hundreds of Gmod videos than it would be if they were banned before I started YouTube. Simply because I then wouldn't make Gmod videos, so then I wouldn't be distraught over losing them, versus if I lost them after all that hard work. It's the exact same concept here. You've had something going so well for so long, and now you're going to rip it all away because, we're going to protect you from yourselves, right? We want control. And that's worse than if you just never had it at all. Right? And that's how China works. So it's like, okay, we have all these laws and, here's what you can and can't say. And that sucks, but you never became adapted to being able to say what you want to say. The United States has the First Amendment. Now imagine if the First Amendment was just ripped from you. Well, that's worse than if you were in a country where you overtly don't have that and you can't say whatever you want. Well, then they're used to it and you're not, right? And it goes so on and so forth. It's like living in the woods. Well, living in the woods isn't so bad if you've been living there for a year versus somebody who's chucked in the woods and expected to survive with a couple of sticks, right? Let me take a look here. I had those type of teachers before, but like flip where they act strict but are totally chill and are strict about work. Well, that's more of a differentiation of their personality is relaxed and laid back, but as teachers they're strict and demonic, right? That's what we're dealing with. I don't look very brightly upon teachers for that matter. You'll find that a lot when I criticize them in a case where it's relevant, but we're going to move on.
Same thing that, the UK already managed to pass. And then what makes it even worse, on top of that, a lot of people started to find out that the same laws, like Online Safety Act, Kids Online Safety Act, Screen Act, all this is in other governments. You have, like, Canada, they have a government as well. Like, their government is, like, having the exact same law. I think it's S209. I'll have a picture on screen. And then you have, Australia. They're having the exact same thing. They're having a whole thing to where they're going to start restricting the internet this upcoming December and all that. And then you go one step further, the European Union, the EU or Europe, they are also implementing, like, this DSA or whatever, digital...
Notice how it's all crap influence from Europe. It's from the EU and the Commonwealths. That's who's doing this. It's the Commonwealths and it's the EU. It's Canada, Britain, and Australia. And then the EU, which of course includes like France, Germany, what other countries are doing this. I know Poland doesn't have this BS. Poland's going pretty strong right now. I'm sure Italy's got this crap. And so, there you go. It's all Europe. If you go over to, let me think of a country. I'm not sure what Saudi Arabia allows on the internet, so I don't really have a reference point. But, like, think of South America. South America doesn't have this crap. You want to know why? Because they're not influenced by the damn Commonwealths. And this is a very simple explanation. The people who are in power, it's a double-edged sword, okay, with power, that is. People who are in power, hang on, let's see. Why Europe? Why did you have to start the domino effect? Yeah, I'm kind of about to explain why. I want this explanation to go back to, let's say, World War I, okay, or around the time of World War I and before that. Let's actually go back to the Middle Ages, okay? We're going all the way back. Everybody that was in Europe existed off of a monarchy, okay? Or maybe there were some nations that didn't, but usually it ran off of some sort of king or whatever the equivalent of a king and queen was, right? And so you had your leaders, you had your nobles, you had your super rich individuals. There are only so many of these individuals. So let's say you had 200 of these people that are super rich and powerful. You only have one king, right? You only have one queen, right? Well, usually. Or that's officially the queen, I mean. There were always mistresses and cheating, right? But that's what you've got for one nation. Okay. These people control a ton because one reason, money. They have the money. And so because the rich and powerful, you don't just become rich and powerful at random, it's usually kept in a loop. Well, because it's kept in a loop, that means it's in a set population. You know how royalty is always, keeping it in the bloodline, keeping the bloodline pure, okay, which is incest, but you get my point, right? It's all the same it's all the same, I almost said grandfather, that wouldn't have made sense. It's the same family, and it's all the same group of people. And so because it's the same group of people, then they're able to influence the exact same amount of things. However, that means that those people are the people that control everything. Here's my point with this. They're all connected to each other, if you notice that. The reason is everyone knows each other. Okay? Back in World War I, not Duke. Who is the leader of Germany? I can't think of his name. I can't think of his title, I mean. Germany leader, World War I. Because, okay, it was Kaiser Wilhelm II. What was his title? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, Emperor and King. So yeah, he was the emperor, essentially. So, the leader of Germany was, I believe, the cousin of the leader of Britain. of Great Britain during World War I. Well, you want to know why? Because it's all the same group of people. That's how royalty works. And so nowadays, you may not have, well, technically Britain does have a king and queen, but it may not all be royalty and dukes and a peerage system anymore, but it's the same idea. The rich and powerful are all the same group of people still, and it only slightly increases over time, and it usually increases just based amongst them reproducing with each other, okay? And so as a result, they all have influence in the same places. They're all connected to each other. So somebody knows somebody in Canada that's in Britain, and then somebody in Canada knows somebody in Australia, okay, and so on and so forth. And so everybody influences each other, and that's how corruption works. They're all most likely linked into sex trafficking, because that all links up to the Epstein case, and everything to do with Epstein. And so that all links together. I mean, there's already implications of, Prince... Jesus, I am tired. I can't even think of his name. I'm thinking of Prince Peters for some reason. Prince Jones? Really? I don't know how I can't think of his name. Prince of Britain. Prince Charles. I think that's it. Is it Prince Charles? I'm not sure. Hang on, what's this? Why have you started Big Brother on the internet? Kaiser, whatever face 3 has a nice mustache. What, Pedro? I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, he did have a nice mustache, though, that's right. So anyways, the point is everybody knows each other. And they're all linked to the same people. And so they all influence the same stuff, and they all influence for the same reasons. So somebody owes somebody something else, and so it's all tied together. That's why, that's one of the biggest reasons that I do actually like Trump as a president, is because even if he's linked to the Epstein stuff, he's out to protect himself. He don't give a rat's ass about anybody else, and definitely not anybody else in another country. And so, basically, he'd throw everyone under the bus as long as he doesn't get caught. Which, in the grand scheme of things, if we're trading, 99 people for 99 for 100, Jesus, I'm freaking tired. 99 for one person, then that's a great deal. Because then that's 99 of the corrupt officials gone. Okay? And so, all these people that are linked in, they can't touch certain individuals because they're not related. Think of like Elon, okay? Elon's kind of goofy. He may be the richest person in the world, but I don't personally think he's connected into any of... at least, he's not connected to the Epstein stuff. He's probably connected to other illegal things, but it's nothing that we know about, right? So there's no accusations. There's no point in throwing that around. And so because he's not linked to it, he can say and do whatever the hell he wants. He's also the richest person on earth. So what, you gonna attack him? Good luck with that, right? But he's got all the influence he wants. And so that's why Elon is kind of just untouchable. But he's off in his own world. He's off in, La La Land doing whatever he does, making shit posts on Twitter, all right? These people, they orchestrate everything at the same time. And that's why I said earlier, shadow organization. What that means is that it's all this secretive group of people, okay, that are all doing things in cahoots with each other. And so that's why all of this stuff is at the exact same time. The Epstein case, the UK's, everything going on in the UK, I can't even limit it down, right? All the stuff with anti-immigration, or anti-immigration from the people. The country itself is letting in thousands of freaking illegal immigrants, all of which are fighting age men. You can probably assume why. Okay, Australia's BS. Okay, all the internet stuff, all the payment processor stuff with video games. It's all at the exact same time. Why is that? Well, let me tell you the most basic and simple explanation for anybody with common sense or anybody who's ever seen a movie ever. They're all the same people. It's all the same thing. It's the same organization, okay? Now, it doesn't have a name or face, this organization, I mean. It may not even be an organization in the way you might think of it, but by definition, it is an organization Because you have an organized group of people that are doing things all along the same exact lines and all in the same agenda with each other. And so all these people are connected, and that's why all this crap occurs at the exact same time, is because it's all according to the same agenda. Well, why would you have the same agenda? Simple. You're all helping each other, right? And so there you go. There's the corruption, and it's across the globe. And that's why you don't get this crap in South America or in freaking, Africa. You don't get this crap in Japan. You get this crap in the EU, Britain, Australia, Canada, and it's threatening the United States, but the United States has the great and godly amendments. And so it keeps it at bay. And so we can say, well, this is against the Constitution, and so that's our shield against this bullshit. The EU and Britain doesn't have that. Their government has total control, at least until the people grow a pair and overthrow them. Now, of course, their biggest mistake, they don't have a Second Amendment. So they don't have weaponry, all right, to actually fight against their military. Now, a lot of their military, of course, would still turn, but that's what all the illegal immigration is for. They're all fighting age men. So you recruit everybody new, make that into your new military, and then a lot of the military that you did have turns on you, and now you got a massive civil war. But they're able to sustain the civil war because they've got money, influence, crime, and they've got the numbers that are coming in from other countries, right? And so there you go. So Britain is going to hell. In the next 10 years, there's going to be a civil war, or at least a massive overthrow of government control. All right, that's for damn sure. The rest of the EU, they've got their heads up their asses, and I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, Australia, I couldn't tell you. As for the U.S., that's our main goal. Keep it out of the U.S., and it gets kept out of every other major country. Okay, the EU can let itself burn, but the people in the EU are not going to support it because nobody supports this idea because nobody would like this. The only people that do are those in power. So you got to use their own exploits against them. I think Asher and WX are asleep. I know one of the guys are going to type, "I'm still here." Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are too, but oh well.
Digital something, but it does the exact same thing as the
Does everyone get what I mean,
Online
though?
Safety Act, and so it's just like
That was the most articulate I've been this entire stream.
Censorship after just privacy invasion and these government overreach back to back, and then it gets much worse. Even if we disregard the little stuff here and there, the little nuanced things going on here and there, another big bombshell is that YouTube went out of their way to announce that, hey, we are going to now start requesting age verification in the United States if you try to use our platform.
Don't raise dragons right off the bat. For new players, at the start
I'm still
of the
here,
game,
guys.
don't
I like how
rush to-
WX said guys at the end so that it wasn't exactly the same. That's pretty funny. Okay. And you see, this is one of those things of corporation overreach. They have overreached and violated the laws of the United States of America. They should be punished. This is not allowed, or at least it should not be allowed, okay? And the reason all of this has not already been counteracted is because laws are put in place to stop people from exploiting systems. Exploits are figured out by new people, new generations, new time periods. Due to the internet and YouTube being, in the grand scheme of things, pretty new in terms of time. I mean, YouTube's only about 20 years old, okay? Due to that fact, as a result, they don't have laws in place for this, or at the very least, they don't have laws specific enough in place for this, right? Because you can dodge broad laws and broad terms, right? But you can't dodge specific things. You know, like YouTube is not allowed to do this, okay? Well, that sounds stupid, like, oh, why would the U.S. make a law specifically restricting YouTube? Well, they have laws against, like, oil companies, don't they? They have laws against manufacturers. They have laws against military contractors. They have laws for all kinds of things, and they have laws for all the monopolies. And the monopolies are expected to work differently. YouTube basically is a monopoly, but they don't have the laws in place because this kind of bullshit hasn't been tried yet. Now that they've tried it, now you gotta work to build the law, right? Because they want the power of being able to control whatever the hell you say. And this all goes back to every single man, woman, and child on this planet operates off of selfishness, naturally. That is the natural order of humans, is to be selfish, greedy organisms, okay? And predatory, too. And so you can have the kindest, sweetest individual on the planet, but power reveals. It is not corrupt. And this is power. This is the reveal of power, okay? You don't get into a position like this for the rights of other people. You get into the position of this for control, right? And because they have the control, now they can get people to say whatever they want. And you might ask, well, to what end? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Most people do not think in an advanced manner. They think like children. And children, they're scared of what the bad man's going to say about them. And so if I'm criticizing YouTube, the big bad man at the top doesn't want to hear me, make fun of him and call his mother a freaking hooker or something, right? And so he's going to take my video down. It's the same thing as the special ed kid screaming over you to prevent you from talking, okay? Because they're losing in a conversation or losing in a debate. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. I'm going to remove this because I don't want to look at it, right? Well, it's immaturity. Well, remember, all the people that operate these systems and these companies, they're all humans too. And as humans, they do stupid stuff, they think stupid stuff, and most likely, there's immaturity in all these people. And so as a result, they do stuff like this. And this is their version of control. Remember, intelligent people have a version that's different from everything else, okay? So think of it this way. Intellectually, somebody's version of control is, I want to have this much land, I want to take over these regions, and I want to establish a civilization with these values. And I want to be the head of that civilization, or maybe I want to install a system to where you can vote. Any ideas here? Now, this, regardless of whether the person is evil or good, okay, however you even put those into perspective, the idea of good and evil is a childish concept to begin with because it's arbitrary and subjective. But the point being, that's how intellectual individuals think of it. Now think of how a fucking moron thinks of this, okay? This is their version. Well, I want to stop people from insulting me online. They have all that control, all that money, and all that power. And their version of it is, I want to save my reputation. They think like children. They're immature, I almost said pitiful and piteous at the same time. Piteous individuals, and this is how they run their existence. This is how they control things. They're not intelligent enough to think of a way to apply this in a broader sense or in a more grand manner. They are not going to seize control of anything. This is their control. This is my world. This is my realm, and I'm going to control it, right? It's the Gotham villain wanting to take over the city. They don't want to take over the country. They want to take over the city. What are you going to get in Gotham City? Nothing. But they're going to take over the city because that's their version of control, right? And so you understand the psychology behind it. Humans are not hard to understand. It's the simple basis that people all do things that don't inherently operate off of logic. They operate off of emotion. And this is emotion right here. Because humans run the system, machines don't. The only time this will change in history is if either you have an extraterrestrial threat or if you have a machine intelligence, as in mass AI intelligence, super intelligence, right? That's the only time this rule will change. As long as humans are bickering amongst themselves, this will stay true, and it will be just as predictable every time.
Once again,
there's rant number 3.
States. We're not talking about UK. We're not talking about Australia. We're not talking about Canada. We're not talking about EU or Europe or anything. We're talking about the United States that doesn't even have a law like this passed. Age verification law. It's just in Congress. They did that, and they're sweeping it. It's happening. August 13th. A lot of YouTubers are talking about this. Now, we have this. We have a situation. We have a situation where there is now apparently rebellion and people are dissatisfied with governments, and we have an anime, One Piece, being utilized as an act of rebellion, and then also straight up being labeled a threat. What is this year, man?
It's Luffy, dude.
Year? I want to point out something that what I just
Luffy's with the
like,
Taliban. It's confirmed.
Is a short summary. Like it is an astronomically short summary to everything going on. Like I could have talked about the whole stuff with MasterCard basically calling everyone liars, calling Steam, calling itch.io, calling Japan, calling, you know, these different sites, calling all of them basically liars and saying they're not censoring people. I could have talked about that in length, and there's a lot more associated with that as well. What is going on, man? Like, anyone looking at this right now can just straight up say, and I think we can all agree, this is coordinated. Like, it just...
Right.
This does
it is
not
coordinated.
happen back-to-back like this in just 2 weeks, okay?
Yeah.
Like, it's just literally being sped run so quickly.
He gets
People
it.
can't even keep up. Like, there is literally new information that comes out every single day, stuff that's even more horrendous to
It is
find
clearly
out about,
coordinated,
and, like,
yeah.
It just...
This has
makes
been
you
planned.
depressed,
This has been
sick.
walked
and it's
through.
just like... It's so much going on around the world with all this information of age verification, real ID, the internet under attack, to just YouTube doing changes, to the Spotify, to the Discord, to the Wikipedia.
Right, there's the Spotify
It's just
stuff.
like,
I didn't even
it's an
talk about
internet
that
archive. Now,
because I don't have
an active
Spotify,
library
so I didn't
which is
think to
recognized
talk
by
about
the
it.
United States government. Like,
But yeah, there's all the
involved in it. I
Spotify
haven't done
bullshit
too
going
much
on, too.
research into that
I didn't even
one,
talk
but
about
even
that.
still, it's like there's a lot.
I just
okay,
turned
going
around
on.
and saw a black void
it's
and
clear.
scared the shit out of me.
It's very obvious. There is just a straight up attack on the internet. It's like, you want to know something that is really horrifying about this whole thing? I'm going to point out here. I want to show this real quick.
Check
YouTube
this
could
out.
be forced to promote British public service TV content. This was posted on Financial
No
Times, as
shot.
you can see at the top there. And what makes this really devious, this entire article...
What did the everyman say? What did the everyman say, everyone? Tell me what I said about this. Tell me what I said about everyone being connected to each other. You guys remember that? Way back when, like 7 minutes ago? When I talked about how all the people in the Commonwealth throw a link to each other and they all know each other. And I bet you, I guarantee it, you can clip me saying it, I bet you all the people who operate this shit, they're all in the Epstein files. Or whatever the equivalent of the files are, even if it's not a physical, paper and it goes, here's on the files, right? Whoever's linked to Epstein, guarantee it's these people. Guaranteed. It's all the same people. It's all linked. Here, let's see. Oh, I use YouTube Music instead of Spotify, so just like you, I forgot to talk about it. Yeah, I don't even use YouTube Music. I just use YouTube videos. Or it's in video form, but it is music. It's hard. It's weird. But, yeah, it's like, what did I say? YouTube could be forced to promote British public service. They wouldn't do that if they weren't being forced to by British officials. It's obvious.
Actually, is to
This is V for Vendetta, fellas.
You have to buy a subscription.
This is V for
just to be
Vendetta
able
in
to
real
read
life.
this. And
Every
so
man
a lot of
clips
people
that and make it
are
into a
not even gonna
YouTube
be able to
short.
know what's in this, what's being said in this article. Thankfully,
Oh, one thing I want to tell you guys, just so everybody knows, I will not stop you and not get you in trouble ever if you clip something I say, unless I tell you not to, or unless it is overtly out of context and makes me look bad, right? So if I if I say something about terrorism and I'm making a joke where I'm like, oh, I'm going to blow up this building, don't take that clip out of context, because most of the time I sound serious even when I'm joking. So, don't screw me with it, okay? But if I'm talking about a topic, or I say something funny or something funny happens in chat, look it over, make sure it's not going to, make everybody look like we're freaking rabid animals, and then feel free to upload it. And because that's free advertising, right? So you can make clips of stuff we do on stream or of my videos. You can make videos talking about the everyman, stuff like that, and I will not stop you, right? Because a lot of people are scared, myself included, right? Like, notice how I always repeatedly give these guys credit. I repeat their name. I say go check out their channel and stuff. Playing somebody's video makes you kind of feel weird, or taking a clip from somebody's video especially makes you feel kind of weird, because you're like, am I stealing this? You know, and it's like, no, you're not stealing it, and it's under free use. But it's that anxiety of like, well, maybe they'll be mad at me if I take some of their content and use it for myself, right? But yeah, I don't mind if you turn something I do into a YouTube short or something, because then you just link it back to my video and then people look at it, right? And then I'm not making the short myself. Of course, I'm always going to still be making them, but that's just additional. So if you think something's funny, you can clip it and put it out. And you could even do it out of context if you explain it in the description of what I'm actually talking about, right? As long as it isn't like me cursing my lungs out or something, and then, you know, it's like completely, everything tears down the walls or something. I don't know what I'm talking about in that regard, but because I can't think of a particular example of which that would be the case, besides maybe some of the stuff on Super Seducer, but yeah. All right.
Able to screen grab and get stuff from it. But basically, to kind of summarize this article very briefly, the UK government is very much in the stage of wanting to become a police state. Okay?
No shit.
And anyone trying to say they're just banning adult games or they're trying to think of the children are just lying to themselves. They are gaslighting you, and honestly, at this point, people that are saying that, I have to believe that there's some form of plant. Like, I have to believe they're either a bot or they're someone that is actively getting paid by certain governments to say this. Because, I'm just going to say, anyone with a working brain could see what's going on here.
Dude, I would say, I'm not sure who has it worse, but Britain's looking worse than China. That's mostly because China, you don't get a lot of bad press coming from there because they're not allowed to give it bad press. But also, China just doesn't strike me as like, we're going to hunt you down for saying weenie online. Did I tell you guys about that? Some guy got arrested in Germany for calling a guy a weenie. He was a grown man. They were both grown men. He didn't call him a slur. He didn't insult his mother. He didn't threaten him or dox him. He called him a damn weenie. An insult used in SpongeBob. And he was arrested by German law enforcement. Isn't that freaking incredible? That is, I don't even know how to describe the level of de-evolution you'd have to go through as a nation to reach that point. But it's like, I don't hear about bullshit like that coming from China. As long as you're not bad-mouthing your government in China, you can probably do most of the same stuff. Once again, I don't know enough about China's restrictions on YouTube to be exact in that regard, but I do know that there's not all this protect the kids crap there, right? It's just, you know, it's like you can say what you want about anything else, so kids can watch whatever the hell they want elsewhere, as long as it isn't insulting our country, which, like, I can respect that, you know? Let's see. I don't know how to clip stuff, but hey, it's good information, or that's good information. I mean, you can always figure it out. You can also, like, screen record something. Like, let me think of how to describe this. All these streams are uploaded on my channel after I'm finished with them. So if there's a moment in a stream, you could watch it after the fact. Then you can screen record it. Then you can edit it down to, like, you cut out everything but the little part you want to use and then upload it as a YouTube short. There's also, I think, a clip button on the streams that you can use to clip things I say, and then you can do some stuff to edit it down and turn it into a short. Or you can make a video about it, or you can just make a video talking about the channel, stuff like that. All of that is allowed. I will not stop you, right? Now, that might change if we're talking about, 5 years later and I have like 800,000 subscribers or something. I don't expect that to happen, I'm just saying. Then maybe it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, if it's like that, I don't care. Or if you bring it up to people or something, then yeah. Okay, that's actually wild. Weenie Hut Jr. reference. Yeah, somebody got it.
And it's not about protecting kids.
I am a robot,
it's
not a miracle worker.
It's obviously trying to keep kids off the internet. It's trying to literally restrict free speech, freedom of expression, fictional content, anime, manga, gaming, and everything in between. It's literally just there to restrict people and tighten the grip around your phone.
I don't know what the hell happened to Britain, but
this right here,
they've lost their damn minds.
This is the most damning evidence, honestly, so far. I mean, there's been a lot of damning evidence, but this here is just truly horrifying, because this article you can't even access without actually paying for it.
Oh
so
my
there's so
God.
many people that are going to be completely unaware of this and unaware of what
Dude,
is being
Chibi
said
Reviews,
and
he
what
took one for the
Finance
team
Corp
buying
is
this
able to bring up, but also
crappy
what
little
YouTube is
review.
doing, and YouTube is apparently on
Crappy
board
little
with this.
article.
This is a passage
I
from
said
the
review.
article. A YouTube
you
spokesperson
could say
said,
it's a
"We are
review.
proud of our relationship with British broadcasters and
Oh
are
my
committed
God.
to ensuring that they thrive in the digital era." A DCM's spokesperson said that ministers would now consider their recommendations. You would not be able to even know this was being said in the article unless you paid for it. Or screen grabbed it like I was managed to do. It's actually crazy.
Oh, wait.
Legitimately
Okay, I don't know if
insane.
he paid for it, but, like, who cares? He's showing it on camera. That's good enough. Yeah, that shows blatant bias. Let's see. What did it say? Our relationship with British broadcasters. That's like saying, oh, by the way, my boss paid me to say this, and I have a really good relationship with my boss. My boss is the best guy ever. I hear his penis is huge, okay? By the way, he's totally not paying me to say all of this online. By the way, you should totally find my boss and subscribe to his channel. And I hear he also does certain things online. Some may say inappropriate content. He animates stuff. He draws stuff. Go buy him some gifts. He's the best man ever. I'm not being paid to say this.
But even if we
Not
disregard
bias. The most not
YouTube
biased
is
source ever.
obviously, in this
The
moment,
least
they're
biased,
complying. They're
anti-bias.
complying with what the UK wants.
Wait,
And
you need to
what
pay
does
for
this
information?
effectively mean?
Yeah, it's
Well,
from
it
Britain,
means
dude. What do you
that,
expect?
When you click on the homepage, regardless if you're subscribed to different content creators or not, or not subscribed
Actually,
to
I don't know
anything
if
that's
the
going to be
article's
said
from
here,
Britain,
you're
but I
going to
do know
have
it's- actually,
British public service TV.
I'm not sure if it's
appear
from Britain
in your homepage
or if it's-
in your For You page or whatever. Just when you search for content,
It
on
is
YouTube,
about
it's
British,
going to
though.
appear.
It is the Financial
And
Times.
I'm assuming this is probably going to only affect people that live in UK, but it might go out.
I
of it,
feel bad
don't
for
know,
those living
but
in the
big-
United Kingdom.
Big red flag here.
That's a
This is
hellscape.
the big red flag, regardless if it's only strictly for the UK at the moment. The red flag is that it is only UK at the moment, and the fact that YouTube
Is Asher
is
asleep?
obviously bending
'Cause I know
over
WX
backwards just to
Analyst
do
isn't,
this.
and
they
obviously
legit
Pedro
have already
isn't.
introduced age verification.
Not
I mean,
sure.
the whole thing
Yukari
that
isn't
Broncos
here,
have
he'd
for
be
a few
running
days
off
now,
the
people are
mouth.
finding out about. It's obvious.
Not that
It's
that's a
very
bad thing,
obvious that
but-
YouTube is heavily working with these governments and just doing what they say, and they are willing to censor content or literally feed you propaganda. That's exactly what this is. It legitimately is. It is propaganda being fed to you. And even if some of these service announcements are important and they might say some truths, the point is that they're forcing it on you and making you have to see it, have to hear it, and they're making sure you can't avoid it. That is legitimate forcing of propaganda to where you can't ignore it. And
There's
you
a
have to
reason
hear
the
it
book
from one
1984
certain perspective. On top of that, with
George
this
Orwell.
announcement,
There's a
with
reason
this
it's
coming
based
out,
off of Europe, particularly
This is
Britain.
apparently on the actual official UK government site.
Same with V for
You now
Vendetta.
cannot talk about,
V for Vendetta is also takes place in Britain.
like, for instance, cultural nationalism and mass migration without being labeled, I'm not joking, a terrorist. They literally
Dude.
say it's a terrorist act to talk about cultural nationalism. And I just want to point this out.
What's that sound like to you guys? I think Asher's what Twitch people call lurking. No, there's some lurkers in here. I think there's one or two, but he might have fallen asleep. Because remember, he was asleep earlier. His girlfriend said that. And if they both fell asleep, then no one's awake to wake the other up. If you remember. Because Elena, or however you pronounce her name, she went to sleep earlier. Asher was asleep before her shortly after he joined, so he must have fell asleep. See, I'm remembering the details. But yeah, this is in 1984, in the book 1984, they called this thought crimes, right? And they have this thing called the thought police. The idea of it is good. The name is kind of stupid, but it's whatever, right? And this is a thought crime. You cannot talk about illegal immigration or you're going to be cast away. It's considered a terrorist act to talk about illegal immigration. That's a thought crime, is what that is. That's so anti-free speech. There aren't words to describe it. Okay? You need to overthrow that damn government as soon as possible. Okay? There is no freedom to be had if you can't even talk about it. That is absurd.
That all this is happening just back to back. Like all this new stuff just continues to happen, and it's just been a domino effect that's getting worse. And regardless of whatever side you're on, left or right, it doesn't matter. It's very
this ain't a party issue. This isn't a left-right issue. This is simple human
and not
rights
talk about
issue.
this real serious issue at hand. The entire collective of the internet is under attack. The entirety of freedom of expression and speech and just literature and fiction and all that is under attack. It's very clear that there is just something going on, and once again, call me a conspiracy theorist, but all this stuff back to back with like these laws, for instance, like with S209, this is Canadian law, by the way, that is trying to do the exact same thing with age verification,
it's all the
same thing
Commonwealth.
that UK already passed, and then
all
this is
to
also,
Britain.
you know, the Australian government talking about protecting kids from harm from social media and restricting, you know, sites and stuff, you know, and people that are under 16, you know, is going to
it's lurking in the United States too.
Kicked offline, which
of course
sounds
not
good
as
in theory,
effective
but
because
it's
the
very clear what they're
Constitution,
trying to
but-
do. They're doing an age verification process with IDs and stuff like that. But then we also have the EU, you know, European Union and Europe. They are launching their digital age verification system by 2026. This is systematically happening all at once. It is happening so quickly that it's stun-locking the entirety of the world. That people are just so spaced out. They don't know what to focus on. Because let's just think about this. I bullet pointed so much stuff that happened at the beginning of this video. With, like, for instance, with MasterCard, with Visa, with payment processors, with Collective Shout, with UK government, Online Safety Act, to COSA, Kids Online Safety Act, to, you know, the EU, to Australia, to Canada.
Let's see this. Pedro says, how dare you think of illegal immigration? Reminded me of Helldivers, since they do that, but not democratic stuff. Yeah, well, okay. Helldivers is meant to be modeled mostly off of Western civilization in an extreme version of that, okay? Helldivers is taken from Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is taken as a satire of fascism, okay? Of course, fascism happened to be Italy, Germany, in World War II, right? So that explains why that's the case. And a lot of that, if you think about what the roots of fascism are, fascism is rooted in highly militaristic culture, so, you know, a military society, essentially. It also, a lot of it is in, whatchamacallit, it is rooted in capitalism generally, so it's more, that's kind of the economic policy it runs off of, or at least historically it is. The third major detail is that, of course, you have a dictator, you have a central leader, and you don't have elections, okay? And I'm losing my mind here. I came to think of, I had a main point I was going to list off. It's the most important one of what we're talking about, and I just lost my train of thought. Nationalism. That's it. Fascism operates with nationalism in mind. So it is heavily centered around being nationalistic and loving your country and thinking your country's the greatest thing ever. Okay? And that's how fascism thrives, is heavily off of nationalism. Okay? And what this is this isn't nationalism so much as it is, it's the transition into a new form of it. Okay, so like, for example, the people of the country hate this. But the people who are illegally immigrating to the country, they're being assimilated by this government structure to essentially, you can think of it as like creating a new country from it. And so it's nationalism for this new order. Okay, it's kind of like the First Order or the Galactic Empire in Star Wars. It's kind of like how that works. Let's see. Every man go to sleep. Oh, you're telling me to go to sleep? Or drink coffee or energy drink? I don't drink energy drinks or coffee. I do have tea here with me, so that's interesting. Let's see. I'm probably running off of like 20 hours of sleep debt, but it's okay.
Also, Indonesia, you know, labeling One Piece as a terrorist icon.
Did you say in Indonesia too?
just back to back.
I don't think Indonesia has these laws
just
coming up. I think they just
is getting worse and worse. It is causing people to not really know what to say, what to think, or honestly, they're so split apart that they don't even know what to fight for. Because it's like, obviously, the answer is to fight for the internet, to fight for freedom of expression and fiction, but when every collective country is doing the exact same thing,
kind of tea?
it's hard to really rally
it's
against
iced
one
tea,
central point
raspberry
when it's literally
flavored.
pretty much every government involved at this point. It's actually horrifying, and it's scary to me that there is so many people that are legitimately not talking about this. Like, right now, people are only talking about either UK, payment processors, collective shout, or they're talking about COSA. Nobody's talking about the EU. Nobody's talking about what's going on here with the EU. Nobody's talking about what's happening in Canada with 209. Nobody's talking about Australia.
Yeah, it's too hard to cover it all.
As well, and using the exact same excuses to protect.
Like, you could say I'm covering it all right now, but I'm not even scratching the surface, first of all. Second of all, I'm watching other people's videos on my channel, and I'm showing that so that the topic gets coverage. Most importantly, I mean, people don't know, the majority of people don't know I exist. Would you say? Oh, nice choice for tea? Yeah, it's quite tasteful. Yeah, most people don't know I exist. And so if I'm covering it so you fellas get to see it, and people who do happen to watch these videos and streams see it, but I can't cover it all. I can't get to it all. Making videos takes a lot of time editing it down, and like whenever I take pieces from these streams, I gotta cut out all the stuttering and all the weird sounding stuff and the stuff where I can't remember what I'm talking about, things like that. And so when it's like the clone drone stream, I can take chunks from that perfectly fine. But when I do something like this, where I'm going all over the place, I'm bouncing around, it's hard to take chunks out of it and, you know, chop it up, make a nice soup bowl out of it, and make it into a video, right? And so, and even when I make it into a video, maybe 80 to 100 people see it, right? At best, for what I've got in terms of viewership now, maybe 500 people see it. But 500 people, that's assuming they all sat and watched the full length of the video, which probably 100 or 200 of them didn't, okay? Percentage-wise, it's probably like 40% of people didn't watch the entire thing, okay? Depending on how long it is. And so the result is I'm not getting enough coverage out there. And that's not my fault, because, like, I am trying. And that's not anybody's fault in particular. It's just a matter of not enough people are managing to get it fully across. Like Penguins 00, Charlie, I'm just going to call him by his first name, okay? Charlie, he's getting all the content out there, and he gets it out there decently fast, but he doesn't get enough of that out there, and he doesn't cover it with enough length, which isn't his fault, but, like, that's one example. Asmongold covers a lot of it, and he does a great job, but he can't cover it all, and he has so many other topics he focuses on. You know, he does a lot of political stuff, and this is an inherently, well, it's political, but it's not, like, it's not world events. Or it is world events. How do I explain this? It's not like stuff with the president, and it's not inherently entertaining to focus on, and so he'll do other stuff mixed in. And so it kind of distracts from the main, it isn't his main focus, which is kind of my point. And so it doesn't take center stage, and therefore it doesn't get as much exposure, Jesus, as it should. Then, who else do you got? You have the Curl King from earlier. He's been covering it a lot, but as you saw, he only has like 28,000 subscribers. In the grand scheme of YouTube, that's nothing, okay? And look at me, I got 76 subscribers. This man here, Chibi Reviews, he's one of the higher ends. He's got 481,000. Still, it's not a million. It's not even 500,000, okay? And even with all these views, he's one man. He isn't enough. And that's not his fault, of course. He's trying. He's forcing out that content, and he's doing a fantastic job at getting the point across and getting the message across. But he isn't enough. Not everybody watches him. Not everyone even knows he exists. Most people probably don't in real life if you ask them, okay? People don't know I exist generally. People don't know Asmongold exists, even though he's arguably the most popular Twitch streamer, okay? What else? most people know Charlie, but they don't, you know, like they can't, not everybody's watching all his videos, you know what I mean? And so that's pretty much the limitation of the exposure. Then you've got little people here and there that are covering it, but it's not enough, right? It's not enough to focus on. So until you get Markiplier talking about this topic, or Mr. Beast speaking out against this topic, then you don't get the coverage you need. And therefore, it's going to keep happening. Now, when you get Markiplier, or especially Mr. Beast, because he's got, you know, all the money and influence you could need. If Mr. Beast speaks out against this, which I doubt he will, okay, because he doesn't tend to be one for geopolitics, okay, if he speaks out against this shit'll rearrange real fast, okay, because not only will you be influencing millions of people, but you'll also be influencing millions of children. And if the children, if their favorite god of a man hates it, then they hate it too. And therefore it's never going to pass, right? That's how rebellions occur, is if the children of the people currently living hate something. Because guess what? You can get rid of the parents, but once those kids grow up, they're all going to be fully adapted to rebellion, and they're all going to fight against you, okay? And so if you get one of those really big YouTubers that speaks against it, then this shit will rearrange real fast. But until that happens, it's not getting the coverage it needs. And I, frankly, for the life of me, I cannot understand why they're not doing that. This threatens everyone. It threatens their livelihood. It threatens every person that watches them. It threatens their content. It threatens what people can see. It threatens their advertisements. It threatens their revenue. It is the ultimate destroyer of freedom. And they're not covering it. And I don't know why. Okay? Now, some people haven't uploaded in a while. Like Corey Kenshin hasn't uploaded in quite a bit. I'm not sure what's going on there. But it's like, you know, he's not one to cover this kind of thing generally. But, like, I hope I see this kind of thing from Markiplier or from Jacksepticeye or from Mr. Beast. Those are who I'm thinking of. There are other large YouTubers, but, I mean, if I can't think of them on the spot, then it's probably not, you know, the coverage you need. Okay? Let's see. I only have 50, but that's not bad. That's not bad with not posting for over a year now. Yeah, but, I mean, you also have had a channel for longer than this. I think that plays into it a little bit. Besides, the weather breakdowns are pretty cool.
Kids, and then you have stuff like this with
that was said by WX
trying to call people terrorists for just having a different political opinion on things, just talking about stuff online. It's very obvious what's going on here. It's rampant. It's clear that you have all these different companies, all these different businesses, they're working together to just rein everything in. And one big showcase of this, I think, is YouTube, actually. I mean, I'm just going to say, I might be crazy when I say this.
Probably
not.
But
if you look at my videos I've been uploading for the last, week or so, I've been talking about the subject a lot. And there's always a chance maybe the video just didn't do well. That's fine. But, soon as I name-dropped YouTube negatively, 2 days ago, talking about them introducing forced ID, suddenly, my videos after that now have had half the views.
How about that? How about that? What did we all just hear him say? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. And how it relates to what I said earlier. Let me hear it. Because, okay, I know he doesn't think he's crazy. I know as a matter of fact he does not think he is crazy. He knows, I know, we know, his videos are doing worse because YouTube is intentionally reducing their effectiveness so that bad press does not get out from his channel. He knows he's not crazy. The only reason he's saying I might be crazy and that he's trying to downplay its importance is because it seems arrogant to sound that, to say oh, well, the only reason my videos are doing worse is because YouTube is censoring them. Okay? It sounds arrogant. Well, guess what? Not unless you don't give a shit. Okay? For me, I say here On this channel, especially with this kind of chat, we say whatever the hell we want, okay? And so because we say whatever the hell we want, you guys know and I know it is not arrogant to say videos are doing worse because of censorship. Let me show you guys, because I brought it up earlier too. And what do you know? A guy that is not even quadruple. He's literally like, I can't even think of how many times bigger he is than I am. Oh, sweet, I got one more subscriber. That's cool. Nice. Oh, and Pedro left some comments. That's funny. Okay. Well, I lost my train of thought because I saw the subscriber count increase. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't expect that. Anyways, this guy's got 400. How many has he got? 491,000. Was that what it was? 481,000. I'm surprised I remembered that many of the digits. Okay. He's got 481,000 subscribers, and he's having a drop in viewership. What do you know? How about this? Right after I complained about the protect the children thing, this is a drop, which is fine. It's a long video. I understand. But would you look at this? Censorship in a nutshell. It has censorship in the title, which is my mistake for putting censorship in the title. Censorship in a nutshell, 24 views on a YouTube short. 24 views right there. Then look at these. 343, 223, 912. This one, I uploaded this like 4 hours ago, 405. Would you look at that? Look at the ones before this. 1.3 thousand. 342, 355, 874. Let me look at my lowest one. 83, 9 right here. 5.3 thousand on this one. 34. 3 on this one. Let me tell you guys why some of these are low and some of these aren't. This was one of the earlier shorts, so it was hit or miss. And it also wasn't that funny. Let me check out one of the other low ones. I have one in mind. This is my lowest one. This is because the video that it's linked to, it wasn't very good. The video isn't that great, and it doesn't have that great a viewership, which is fine. Because it has nothing to do with any outside intervention. It just has to do with the video not being great, which is okay. I'm fine with that. Can't always have gems, okay? This one just happened to be low. I don't know what this one's about. This one is linked to a video that's like 48 minutes long, so it's pretty long. And it's a regular video, so it's kind of lengthy for a regular video. That's fine. 9 views. Once again, considering the level at 1.8 thousand on this one, considering the number of people that are watching these shorts, it's not unbelievable. Some just don't do that well. But tell me why the third or fourth lowest, I think it's the third lowest watch short on my channel is the one talking specifically about YouTube censorship. How about that? What do you know? And then where's the stream? I talked about it here on the stream, but it's not in the title. I didn't put it in the title, but I talked about it. Where else? I also talk about it in this one here. And so, there you go. That's your prime example. And guess what? It's happening to Chibi reviews as well. Look at this. Look at the drop. How about that? It's blatantly obvious. And he doesn't want to sound arrogant by saying, oh, well, it's YouTube censoring my videos and that's why they're dropping in views. But it's true. It's not arrogant. It's just common sense. It is obvious.
On these topics. Just completely cut. And I looked at the analytics for, like, my video, okay? That came out yesterday about the same topic that was actually very important. Suddenly, half. Just straight up half. And like, I saw the line go like this, and then it, like, in the analytics. I'm just like,
damn.
That's very strange. Very strange for my videos. That does not happen. And once again, maybe just the video left the algorithm. I don't know. It's possible. It is. Because I don't have proof for this. But it is strange
and
that suddenly when they're...
You all remember on the Curl King, his video? earlier on the stream, guess what? Or it wasn't his video, but it was in his video that he was looking at somebody else's channel, and the video criticizing YouTube, it was restricted. How about that?
There is a big conversation.
These corporations, okay, it started with the payment processors, now we're on to YouTube. They are trying to create their own quasi-government. They are trying to govern you. Guess what? Every single sci-fi universe where a mega corporation is in charge is a dystopia. They all are. There is not one exception. Terminator with dude, how Cyberdyne? Damn, how did it take me that long to think of it? Cyberdyne, mega corporation, caused everything. Okay, let's think of some other examples here. Throw some out if you feel free. What is it? OCP from almost said Cyberpunk. That would have been embarrassing. RoboCop. Jesus, Cyberpunk, really? Okay, from RoboCop. They're playing both sides. They're giving resources to the criminals and to the police so that they can make money off of, crime and putting crime down. Okay? Think of some other examples here, folks. Weyland-Yutani. Okay, Yutani corporations making better worlds. Guess what? Mega corporation. It's all the same thing. When you give corporations power, this is what you get. They create their own government, and suddenly they become the governing body. Except, unlike countries, or unlike a united planet, there is no parliament and no democracy. There's nothing for people to vote off of. There's nothing, the people do not have power within the system. It is simply, they have control and you don't. Okay? Probably the only sci-fi version of Earth that's in like a united, entity that I can think of that is good in nature is Starfleet in Star Trek. Yeah, they've got problems. There's corruption, of course, but Starfleet is probably perfect compared to a million of the other factions that exist that come from Earth and other universes. You know why this crap doesn't exist in Star Wars? Because there's no Earth in Star Wars, right? There's no humans from Earth. So you don't get this bullshit. Even in Star Wars, though, the entire the worst part of the CIS is all built up from megacorporations, right? The Banking Clan, Commerce Guild, Trade Federation, etc. Right? And so, there you have it.
Around censorship, and then even YouTube being brought into question, my video just kind of weird. I saw similar reports from other content creators as well, and I even saw reports of people not even being paid revenue for the last few days because of an error with YouTube. So clearly something weird's going on. That's my 2 cents. Now that one probably will label me as a conspiracy theorist. That's fine. Call me one if you want.
That is not conspiracy. That is a matter of fact.
I just wanted to bring this up because all these topics are very important to discuss. Everybody needs
there are no coincidences when everything happens at once. It is a pattern.
They want you to be silent. They want you to give up. They want you to think that there is no correct answer, or they want you to think that there's no solution to this. They just want you to roll over and accept it. Do not do that.
Right.
It's not good. And it's not okay to accept the invasion of privacy and the removal of you to express yourself freely within fiction and all that. It is not okay. And I will fight for those freedoms because that is what I believe in.
Damn straight, Chibi Reviews.
If you censor content that you deem, like, let's say, taboo, or you censor content that is like, let's say, adult games, for instance, it doesn't stop there. It keeps getting worse. It will censor content that,
it always starts somewhere. It starts with
it will hit you.
weird stuff, and then it always turns into normal stuff.
And then we now have, like, even BL stuff in Japan being attacked, too, as of late. I haven't even talked about that subject, but you had actual Japanese politicians calling out these activist groups in Japan trying to call for the ban of BL. Like, and regardless if you don't like BL or not, okay? Because I don't really care for it myself, I want to be honest with you. The point is, it shouldn't be censored. End of discussion. Simple as that. And it's clear what's going on. It's going on around the entirety of the world. It's getting bad. I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi.
Clap that up for Chibi Reviews. Oh, god damn it. Okay, there you go. Clap that up for Chibi Reviews, guys. This video is fantastic. Go check him out later once the stream's done, or tomorrow, or whenever you have time. This guy makes great videos. He also was the one I got all the information, or not all of it, but like 90% of the information on the whole Texas bill that had to do with AI and anime and such. I got that from Chibi Reviews. This guy's great. Give him a like, subscribe, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'll subscribe to his channel. I don't usually subscribe willy-nilly unless I watch their videos all the time, but you know, I'll definitely subscribe to him because I do watch a lot of his stuff. So yeah, absolutely would recommend. Ooh, oh wait, no, that's from a month ago. I thought PewDiePie was talking about it too. I was like, dude, if PewDiePie's talking about it, that's the kind of thing we need right now. Okay, so anyways, there you have it, fellas. Let's see. Also, if you guys somehow find a way to email or somebody that I watch on the channel, or like be like, hey man, this guy watched your video and he said it was great and he's talking about it too, then that would definitely be pretty cool. I always think probably one of the coolest things, one of my biggest dreams probably, would be in the future doing a collaboration with another YouTuber. That'd be pretty sick. Even if they're not a huge one, I just think that'd be interesting, you know? And no, people my size don't really count, you know, just because anybody can reach this point. Not quite with the effort. Like, the video quality, I wouldn't say they could match that in terms of, like, you know, some of the ideas I come up with for videos, but they could definitely match the subscriber count. That's not that hard. All right, well, it's not that hard, at least for other people, it seems. It's really hard for me to do, so I don't know what that's about. But it is growth exponential, so it should get better. Unless YouTube sends me to the Shadow Realm for talking shit about them. All right, anyways, this is the last thing we're watching tonight. I was actually going to do a little bit more. You guys probably saw I had Reddit pulled up. We're not going to bother with Reddit because we've already gotten a lot of this stuff out here. So now we're going to talk about this piece of shit here, Starmer. Okay? And I live in the United States of America under this beautiful man right here. Beautiful isn't the word I would use, but mentally I think he's all right. We live under this man here, so we can say whatever the fuck we want, okay? This guy here, he's an asshole. And so, you know, yeah. He's the head of Britain, okay? Not a very liked head either, I should add. All right, not quite so pleasant. So anyways, JD Vance humiliates UK official during trip over freedom of speech concerns. So JD Vance, he's like 40 years old, right? He's the vice president of the United States of America. He's pretty cool. Honestly, I like him a lot, and I think that he's definitely far more in touch. Another thing, back to that thing I was talking about earlier about shadow organizations, considering JD Vance's age, he's probably not linked to a shadow organization, or at least not one within this age, you know, the age group we're looking at right here with these fellows, simply because, you know, he wouldn't be old enough to be accepted under this huge corruption, corrupt group. He's not linked to sex trafficking, things like that, right? Or at least he wouldn't be until way, way later, if at all, okay? And so, yeah, that's why I trust Vance definitely a lot more. This is one of those things, I mean, you could say it's a false flag, which, like, by definition, you could kind of argue it is. But all of this stuff, this is orchestrated. This is all happening at exactly the same time, just like Chibi Review says, and it's all across the world at the same time. That's not by coincidence. That is a clear pattern. This has been planned. Okay, now for how long, I do not know. But it is very blatantly obvious that it is orchestrated. Okay, and also, just so you guys know, this is kind of important for later on in the future, I don't care about sounding like a conspiracy theorist. I say things as a matter of fact. If I think it is the case, I'm going to tell you I think it is the case. Okay? Just like how I'm not going to sugarcoat something because it's not generally acceptable, okay? Because once again, I'm allowed to say what I want. You're allowed to say what you want because that's how freedom of speech works. Stand ready for my arrival, worm. Dude, Austin Bear, you're a little late with that Conquest intro. Jesus, it really came in here like Conquest. Hey, man. We're ending the stream after this video, okay. The video is technically 9 minutes and 45 seconds. After we're finished with it, it'll probably be 20 minutes. Bro, the stream is going to be over after this video, worm. Dude, Pedro's like Thrag talking down to Austin Bear. Yeah, it's been a wild stream, Austin. We've been going through a lot of topics, a lot of censorship bullshit. And right now we're about to watch this little maggot over here probably get his country insulted by somebody who lives under a country that has free speech and doesn't ban protesting, okay? Anyways, we're going to proceed.
The UK...
The whole protest ban was against protesting for Palestinian rights over in the UK. They banned that, which, once again, they don't have a constitution, so they kind of just do whatever the hell they want in their government, I guess.
Has been called out by the US once again. And again, it's about freedom of speech and censorship. Vice President J.D. Vance sat down with UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy to discuss various geopolitical and
I thought you weren't going to stream for the next few days. I wasn't streaming for the past few days, so I'm making up for it now by streaming today, and then I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Bigfoot tomorrow, so we're going to be chilling out, having a lot of fun on there. But today I wanted to cover this topic because it's really important. And I've been talking about censorship for about 2 hours now, I think. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to go through with this, and there's so many different subjects. It hurts to talk about. There's so much. It's orchestrated. It is very clearly an organized attempt by corrupt individuals, okay? And my guess, it heavily originates from the same group involved with Epstein is the same group that operates all this bullshit. Okay, that would be my best presumption. Okay, and that's all tied to Diddy, etc. What time? Oh, what time tomorrow? I don't know. I do things at random. Probably, if there's no stupid delays or interference, probably like 9 o'clock, I would say.
Issues, but couldn't
Maybe
help
like
but give a
9:30.
warning about freedom of speech and censorship.
I mean, if you have the notification bell clicked, then it should just tell you whenever I start. What time will the Bigfoot stream begin? Oh, yeah, you already asked that. So
I'd say there is.
Right, there's a 10-second delay, so that makes sense that for you I haven't answered the question yet.
Concerns about free speech in the United States of
For me, I
America.
already
I think
answered
the entire collective West, the transatlantic relationship, our NATO allies, certainly the United States under the Biden administration, got a little too comfortable with censoring rather than engaging with a diverse array of opinions. So
Damn right.
that's been my view. Obviously, I've raised some criticism and concerns about our friends on this side of the Atlantic, but the thing that
Hey guys, so while we watch this video, I want you all to pay very close attention to the body language of the British representative. Body language is very important. It is one of the most important things to analyzing people while you are speaking to them. Now let me tell you something about myself. Naturally, I am quite paranoid. And also naturally, I am extremely mistrustful of people. And so, hang on, what is this? I might be late for the Bigfoot stream, but don't worry, I'll still be there. I mean, late's fine. WX Analyst is late to just about every single stream I ever do, plus falls asleep during them. So, like, I don't care if you're late. I'm here! Oh, right, Austin Bear joined, so Yukari naturally joined. The stream's actually ending relatively soon, because it's been like 2 hours. Yeah, late. But welcome in, Yukari. I'm glad to see you. I see you didn't enter in like Conquest over here, right? Austin Bear, stand ready for my arrival, worm. It's ending after this vid. I mean, we can still talk about stuff after this video is done if you guys like. All it will take is a little bit more caffeine from my tea over here. But, yeah. Anyways, we're talking about censorship. So I'm just going to repeat myself real quick. Also, yeah, I'm doing Bigfoot tomorrow on stream, so we got 2 streams back to back. That is unless something stupid pops up tomorrow, but I hope not. Anyways, I want all of you to focus very closely on the body language of the British representative. Naturally, in real life, I am quite paranoid and extremely mistrustful of people, okay? And a part of that is I am constantly analyzing my surroundings. I am always observing people, okay? And so one thing I do is in a conversation with somebody, what did Yukari just say? Guys, how do I use a knife sharpener? Figure it out? I don't know. Anyways, I'm constantly analyzing the behaviors of people and their body language. And so a big element of knowing what somebody is thinking is analyzing their body language. I think it's like 85% of human language comes from body language, I believe. And that is true, as a matter of fact. And so I want you guys, for the next 9 minutes of this video, and for however long we spend on the stream analyzing this clip, or this scene. Did I say scene? You can tell I'm tired. This video. I want you guys to be watching the British representative very closely. I want you to analyze everything about this man because it is very important to tell if they are a lying weasel or not. Right off the bat, let's practice. What do you notice about his body language while JD is talking? Tell me. I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Let's see. You put it in the slot thing and slide it down. Interesting description. No, it's not one of those. It's like a metal pole. Came in my knife set. You bought a knife set. Pay one that fits, stupid. You guys are having an interesting conversation. Also not relevant, but let's see. I'll wait for you guys to analyze this clown here, because I want you to see what I'm seeing with his body language. It's very important. It's also very obvious that there's a difference in his body language and his behavior, and it will get worse inevitably. Let's see. British man looks like he's not paying attention to Vance. That's a good detail. I'm not looking at that so much, or at least not so much as the other details. However, yeah, no, I think that's valid. British man seems annoyed. Austin Bear's that's number one. Big one. He looks annoyed. He does not want to be here. More importantly, he looks uncomfortable. Both of them have open legs in their body language. However, one is putting their hands on their knees. What? Oh, Yukari says, wait, British, oh god, I'm vomiting. Bleh. And there's a lot of H's in the bleh he just said. You don't like them and you don't like the French. Honestly, after seeing all these videos today, I don't really blame you. Anyways, like I was saying, he seems frustrated. He's uncomfortable. They both have open body language, but look at where his hands are. His hands are on his knees. That is normally a comforting gesture. If somebody doesn't know what to do with their hands, like for example, I never know what to do with my hands when I'm walking or doing something, okay, so I usually put them in my pockets, or I jack with, I'm messing with something, right? So I'm jacking with a pencil, or I'm messing with something at random, and so a lot of the time I'm chewing on my fingers. I have a bad habit of doing that. Okay, usually the more stressed I am, the more I bite skin off my fingers. Okay, and so for him, he's doing this where he has his hands on his knees in a comforting gesture. The other thing, he looks agitated. He also, as Austin Bear pointed out, he's looking around. He seems distracted, okay? Like he doesn't really want to be there. And he doesn't know what to say because he's been told to say certain things, but what he's saying is bullshit, and he knows it's bullshit. So he doesn't know how to properly sell it. Vance, as you can see, is much more cheerful. He's much more open. More importantly, he's much more confident. He knows he's winning because the United States, very clearly, everyone knows, has very, very enhanced freedom of speech laws compared to Britain right now. It's a matter of fact. The Constitution defends your right to say whatever the hell you want. Britain doesn't. And so when we're talking about freedom of speech, Britain is playing the bullshit of, oh, well, we have freedom of speech. If you're China, I said this earlier, if you're China, you can say, well, don't say that because we can make you not say it, right? We can force you not to open your mouth. China does not sugarcoat their capability. They just do it. That's respectable in its own right because they don't lie to you and try to convince you you have rights. The worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is give someone hope. Give someone false hope. Give someone the impression that they can do what they want when in reality they have no free will. If you tell someone you don't have the right to do this, then they don't have the right. Then they know they don't do it or can't do it, and they won't. Or maybe they will, and then they'll be punished, but like, what are you going to do, sue me? It's against the law. Stupid. Should have thought of it ahead of time. Even if the laws are unjust, like they are in China, they don't pretend like they won't arrest your ass for saying something they don't like. In Britain, they do pretend like you can say what you want, and then they arrest you when you say what you want. Okay? And so that's the difference here. And look at their body posture. Now, this could be explained by how long they spend in school. I'm partially joking, but JD Vance has clear, straightened body posture. The British representative is hunched over slightly, looks uncomfortable, and his arms are slouched forward. They're not back. Let's see. Hang on, we have a lot of people in chat here. You jack what? Yeah, I knew that was going to be said that. It's slang where I live, jacking around with something, and so, but it sounds like, you know, what you think it sounds like when I say it like that. Here in the Midwest, we put our hands on our knees to stand up. He is about to leave. Are you sure he's about to leave? Let me see. He is not about to leave. No. Let's see. Yes, we go, welp, I gotta head out and let out a primal grunt when we stand. That's true. We do let out primal grunts when we stand. If you're above the age of 20. Let's see. I am politics. Sure. You're war. I'm politics. I'm both, but I'm more war. Well, war is political, so you are by default both.
Say to the people of England or to anybody else, to David, is many of the things that I worry most about were happening in the United States from 2020 to 2024. I just don't want other countries to follow us down what I think was a very dark path under the Biden administration.
Commentator Brad Palumbo agreed with the VP, saying the UK is heading down a dark path of censorship.
I think he's absolutely right about the United Kingdom and their sad decline in freedom of speech and freedom of press. I mean, you have thousands of people who've been arrested over the years because of...
Okay, first of all, this is true. What he's saying is absolutely true. I want to go back to that body language thing. His smile is very grandiose. It's not very natural or naturally formed.
Press.
Notice another thing about his behavior.
I mean, you have
he unconsciously leans back once he exits the handshake. Once he knows he's forced by cultural norm to shake his hand. Once he is done being forced to be kind, his unconscious mind defaults to avoidance, and avoidance is creating distance. Now, he can't create a ton of distance, but the body will still try, and so he leans back to avoid being close. Well, JD Vance, he's still got his arms out, and he's shifting his right shoulder a little bit toward him, right? And he's still looking at him. He's looking kind of off randomly, if you can see. I'm sorry, what the hell are we talking about in chat here? Why do you think we're together all the time? I got a 12-inch bayonet. This is from Yukari. I got a 12-inch bayonet blade, and it's all... Yo, what? I should probably delete that, but I'm not going to. Okay.
Of people who've been arrested over the years because of things they posted on social media. That is not a free country.
I'd calm down a little bit, Yukari. You're going off the deep end.
Modern dystopia, an authoritarian state where the government can roll up with the authorities to come get you because they don't like what you have to say. It is sad to see that happen to one of our greatest allies, a beautiful nation with a long history and legacy as a beacon of freedom in the West. And I also appreciate JD Vance calling them out for it. But honestly, it will have to come from within. Their own citizens will have to stop standing for it. Stop standing for the censorship. Stop standing for the overreach.
The thing is, they don't stand for it. They just don't have the means to do anything about it.
Police roll up on somebody
They're only
for a crude joke.
Okay. Let me make this very clear, fellas. This is like rant number 6 or 7 of this stream, okay? Maybe 8. Violence is the language of the unheard. Does anybody know who that quote is from? Let me hear it. Does anybody know who said that quote? Are we still talking about kitchenware in the chat? I don't know what you're doing with kitchenware at midnight or past midnight. Better not be doing what I think you're doing. Caden said, wait. Uh-huh. Who said the quote? 6, 7? What? Huh? I'm afraid this is incoherent. Introduction to you and I already hate you. Damn. Let's play nice, kids. WX Analyst isn't that bad. He's just existing in a realm of some sort. Did you say 6, 7? I'm just going to continue with my explanation. Nobody seems to have really tuned into that. Do you say Hitler? Jesus Christ. We're moving on. Anyways, my point is, the quote, violence is the language of the unheard, it's true. Violence is used as the default setting of response if talking about it and being diplomatic doesn't work. You want to know why one of the main reasons the American Revolution didn't happen? Did I say didn't happen? Holy Jesus, I am tired. I gotta walk it back after that. The main reason that the American Revolution happened was because you had taxation without representation. Okay, did you say Gandhi? Yeah. Generally, yeah. Okay. The whole taxation without representation thing, that's the main reason that the revolution started to begin with. There was no representation. There was no voting. There was no parliament seat for the colonies, so they had no way to say, hey, we don't want this, besides outward protests. But eventually, protests would be put down brutally with force, and so eventually, you had to fight back. And that's exactly what happened, right? Take a look at Take a look at India. They managed to settle things through nonviolence, but that was under Gandhi. But then, guess what? You got the split from India, and then that's how you got Pakistan, right? And that whole entire thing erupted into violence. Sure enough. Look at Martin Luther King Jr.'s death. Then guess who came after that? That's when you started to get the Black Panthers. That's when you got everybody who's a bit more extreme and on the violent side. Not that the Black Panthers weren't inherently always violent, but I'm just saying you did get some violent groups after that. And they weren't without reason, because they didn't have representation. They did not have people that were listened to. And when you're not listened to, you know what language everyone understands? Violence. Okay? And so they have removed protesting. They are removing the internet, which is their only vessel left to talk. Okay? They basically have no say in their own government. They have lost all ability to speak. They have no constitution. They have no Second Amendment to defend their right to speak. And so eventually, it is inevitably going to erupt into violence. So, hang on, what's this? The American Revolution didn't happen? What do you mean? We fought hard for this nation and it just didn't happen? Yeah, man, it didn't happen. Why are you freaking out? Man, said, man, calm down. Granted, it took 250 years for full freedom of all, but still, calm down, it didn't happen, man, you're crazy. We're going to clown on me for saying it didn't happen now, aren't we? Dude, that was probably the worst moment of my entire YouTube career, minus running around in the same spot in SCP-5K for over an hour. That's probably the only thing that's higher than that. Anyways, point being, the British people are either going to have to violently overthrow their government, or that's it. Or they're going to bend down and let it happen. Because They can't talk. Talking has left the building. Discussion is no longer involved. They no longer have the right to talk. They don't have freedom of speech, and guess what you get after that? A revolution. It happens every time, without failure. It will always happen. And it's going to happen in all these other countries if they don't change their bullshit. Let's see. Yukari, grab a beer and relax on your lawn chair, man. Bro, it is 12:14. He is not going outside and relaxing on a lawn chair.
They post it online, or for asking someone, why don't you speak English, or any other sort of thing that's just fundamentally not a police matter. Freedom of speech is a basic human right, and we should expect more from our partners in the West than the increased censorship we see in the United Kingdom, especially with the Online Safety Act just rolling out over there. We're already seeing things taken down. It's a threat to freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and all the other values that make the West great. So I encourage JD Vance to keep advocating for it. And
this is why the NCR failed in
We've got to
Fallout.
model better for the world, not have our Western allies acting like China or Russia.
Vance's stern words to the Foreign Secretary echoed the words of Donald Trump only a couple of weeks ago when he visited the UK to meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
Trump was in Scotland overnight for a meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And in a deliciously awkward 70-minute joint press conference,
oh boy, I saw this conference too.
Starmer's Labour government
I
to
saw a lot of
account
this.
Than the UK opposition.
He just straight shit on Starmer in front of everyone.
It's well
that was
known
great.
That Starmer's Labour government
I said this earlier. Trump's got about as much respect for Starmer as I would have being bit by a mosquito outside.
Just last week,
Starmer's the mosquito.
Special task force to monitor what people say online about immigration. So naturally, a journalist asked Donald Trump if he was worried the British government might censor him. And Trump, never one to waste a theatrical moment, delivered this gem.
Oh, here we go. From President Trump. Here we go, guys.
There are new powers here to censor
Content president.
your site, states mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site and Twitter and Facebook. I mean, truth. Is that okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah. Not censoring anyone.
Q Starmer, blinking like a deer in the headlights, suddenly giving an impassioned defence of free speech, promising to uphold it forever.
That's cute.
Nothing about censoring
free speech. But that treats all adults like children.
This country is the proud.
But that can treat all adults like children.
Free speech in this country has been for a very long time.
Dude, you can smell a weasel from a mile away.
Protect it forever.
But despite Starmer's assurances that freedom of speech is alive and well
also,
in the UK...
What the... Hang on. What camera were they using here? This shit's so blurry. The hell, I can hardly make out the details on his face. Like, I have a better camera than that. Not that I use a camera for video making, but... Well, I have before. My older videos. Oh, here we go. We got some stuff from Elon.
Very nervous.
Elon's shit posting more.
There are concerns.
That's what I said. Elon's not in the loop of this. He's not in the corruption of this exact thing, right? Mostly because of his age group, and he's also kind of goofy.
Decision to increase censorship.
But as a result, it's like, okay, well that means he doesn't have the same corrupt crap as everyone else here. Or at least not in this way. I'm sure he has corruption in other ways, but let's see.
The statement says many are now concerned that the plan intended to keep children safe is at risk of seriously infringing on the public's right to free expression. Now, the government has firmly rejected calls to reverse the legislation.
The camera with the Trump pixel and the British pixel.
From harmful content online.
But pixel.
Public opposition to this has really grown significantly. An online petition demanding the Act's repeal has attracted more than 400,000 signatures. Mia, do you have concerns that this Safety Act, this Online Safety Act, it might be well-intentioned, but it will infringe on...
It is not well-intentioned. We damn well know it's not well-intentioned.
And I have to agree with Elon Musk that this is a heavy-handed approach, and it's an approach to censorship. I mean, there's no doubt that the political class has motivations to censor what they see online, because what's happening is the mainstream population is waking up to the fact that our traditional mainstream media outlets are full of bias, they're full of ideology.
You ever see a person that, like,
turning to online platforms
they look like they're AI generated, but you know they're not?
In some attempt to engage in a different kind of discourse.
Can't make fun of them
Democrats
if you're
are seeing is
throwing
they're
up.
thinking, I've
Lock
got to
in.
censor this and control the debate as they're doing.
I will
the
say
things.
this whole censorship thing, and I mean everything the British government has been doing in the past like month, I've lost a lot of respect for the UK. Probably all of it, in fact. I mean, it's amazing. Because I mean, yeah, they seemed fine for years, and then this year and the very end of last year was when I started to notice their bullshit, and I was like, just stop, man. It's like, it's not that hard to just, I mean, it's clear they have some sort of agenda going on in the background, so I don't know. This all feels like one giant red herring. Now, it is a threat. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like a distraction for something else. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Media outlets. Now, this happens time and time
Why
again.
did you
They
have
say
any
it's done in
respect
the
for
name
them
of
at all?
safety. And
Well, because they were our ally forever, and okay, not forever. I'm exaggerating, right? But I mean, they were our ally for, let's see, longer than 100 years now. And so, yeah, and I mean, a lot of their culture was the same. Their people, once again, their people are fine. It's all the government. And I said this earlier, it's shadow organizations. Well, shadow organizations run off of the same freaking 300 people always because they all reproduce in the same pool, right? It's all the same gene pool of people. And that's all because, I mean, you wouldn't have a super high upper class if it was easy to get into the upper class, would it? Right? And so you get all these super rich people because they're all in the same families forever, right? That's how kings used to work. That's how the peerage system used to work in Britain, okay? And so, you know, the general population, this isn't their fault. They're all fighting against it, but they have no Second Amendment, so they don't have the guns and the firepower to rise up and kick their military's ass. And their military might join them, but without central command, their military's fractured. And all these illegal immigrants coming in, they're all fighting age men. So then I'm sure that replaces, you know, what would have been the military with their own little private secret police bullshit, okay? And so then they roll them in, and then that's their own little Gestapo, okay? And so that's what we're talking about here. So I like the British people. I think the British people are generally okay. I mean, they have some weird stuff. It depends on the area they're from, right? I should say UK in general, because this is about the UK in general. So it's not just Great Britain. This includes, you know, Scotland. This includes Northern Ireland. This includes Wales, you know. Do the people from Wales, do they, like, what do you call them, Wales? I'm going to call them Wales from now on. The people from Wales are Wales. Is that insulting? Well, of course it's insulting, but, like, does that count as anything else? Not really sure. Anyways, I thought they were fine for my entire existence up till this year and the end of last year when they started with all this crap, so...
I think everyone can agree that we want to keep our children safe, but this isn't the way to do it.
Enough about the goddamn children,
and we
Jesus.
see it with time and time again with things like
they're not helpless little, you know, bundles of flesh. They can function on their own too.
And perhaps more concerningly, individuals and website
Enough about this
editors could
protect
face
the
jail
children
time
crap.
for merely sharing their opinions.
I don't know where
in
this
the
all
UK.
came from.
Looking at the global implications of this, Politico reports that the UK's Office of Communications.
Hey Pedro, when the video's finished, remind me to bring up
has already sent letters to at least 3 websites that
Roblox,
are operating outside of the UK.
Because that'll remind me of the bigger topic.
Harmful speech audits.
It's not inherently about that, but it's just, it'll remind me.
Imprisonment for a term of up to 2 years.
People from Wales are Welsh? Oh, I know they're Welsh, but I'm going to call them Wales anyways.
But I have to play you what UK
What,
Prime
am I, a
Minister
fool?
Keir Starmer
They're Wales.
said about free speech. It was very awkward.
Oh, it indeed was very awkward. She also had an awkward smile when she said
I don't
that.
know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here.
He's overcompensating.
So uncomfortable. He was awkward there, trying to pretend that that's something he believes in.
Commentator Douglas Murray agrees with Donald Trump and
that way
JD
he's got to be
Vance,
careful. She'll be arrested
Keir
too.
Starmer for allowing free speech to
Think
die
fast,
under
chuckle
his
nuts.
watch.
By the way, that answer that Keir
What?
Starmer gave
Okay.
there, I mean, it's just yet more
The Russian
robotic
badger?
Starmer. That's exactly what he said the other week in the Oval Office when reporters also asked about the free speech problem in the UK. And he said in that same robotic way, we've had free speech for a very long time in the UK.
Yeah, that's his
it can be
trigger
dying on
phrase.
his
It's
watch.
okay.
Just because you've had something for
Bro, don't touch
decades,
President
indeed
Trump.
centuries,
You don't
doesn't
deserve
mean
that.
it survives as a force of nature unless it's protected and
Just
defended
touched
in
his
this
arm.
generation. And
Who's a
Keir
little homo.
Starmer's government
Gotta keep
has
5 feet apart,
decided
gentlemen.
that a priority in almost any real life situation is not to deal with the real life problems that occur, but instead to crack down on online content and much
Dude,
more. This has got
what
such
camera are we using
that
for this
now
footage?
The Starmer government and
Dude,
Starmer himself
this is
pretend
blurrier
that
than an
these
iPhone
online
8.
harms
This is
merely
ridiculous.
has to do with issues of child pornography.
I'm sorry, what are we talking
anyone
about?
Who's pushing back
Okay.
against the
I was gonna say the
online
camera I
harms that
use
must
for my
be
old
therefore
videos
on
looks
the
better
side
than the
of,
camera this guy's
child
using on
pornography.
live
No,
television.
that sort of
Well, it's
filth
not
is
live
already
now, of course,
illegal.
but I'm just saying.
You already go to prison.
Why is it always
for that
Australia
stuff.
making
It is
pro-Trump
such-
news when all of my YouTube feed is a Jordanian newsletter spouting Hamas propaganda? Are you sure you're not just watching Hassan? Because like that'll do that to you. It'll put it in your
A
recommended.
weak and
pro-Hamas
pathetic attempt to
propaganda.
defend something that is essentially indefensible, which is citizens who have said nothing illegal being visited at their homes by the police for tweets and Instagram posts and Facebook posts and so on. It's a lamentable affair, and as I've said to you before, Rita, as we've discussed on this show, the very striking thing is that all the time the government in the UK, as in so many other countries, Australia in particular, decide that if you've got a real life problem, instead of solving it, you should go to the secondary thing of how people are reacting to it online. It's so not fit for purpose.
So there you have it. UK is a bunch of chumps. That's the moral of the story here. Let's see. I watch Tectone, but I go on those posts and haggle with people, which I'm pretty sure half of them are bots, which is sad that Hamas needs bots for supporters. Well, it's a terrorist organization. Do you think that there's that many people that are really, like, really strong-arming them? I don't think so. I think the camera is a web camera, like a computer camera. Also, I think Fast Chuckle Nuts Roblox. You don't have to say the quoted phrase again. Also, I actually remembered it this time, weirdly enough. So I didn't inherently need the reminder, but I am glad that you remembered to remind me. Okay. I'm just going to hover over my channel while we talk about this. Okay. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Aside from all the censorship stuff, just alone, where did all of this paranoia I call it the pedophile paranoia of this generation, where did it all come from? I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Because 30 years ago, people went about their day and they were worried about marijuana being legalized or staying illegal. People were worried about, wearing their jeans too low in school or too high in school, okay, because a lot of people would drop them to where you could see their butt crack, okay, in the 90s. People were worried about, better phones, okay? You get to 2001, all right, and now suddenly you've got the war on terror. So can somebody tell me how it is that now, I would say within the past 12 years, let me think, what year is it? Yeah, within about the past, maybe, let's go with a more, not that 15 is an even number, but 15, like 2010 is an even time, right? Even number. So let's say 15 years for convenience. Within the past 15 years, this whole paranoia with pedophiles has popped up. People are scared to death of them. They're scared of them like how people were scared of hell in the Middle Ages. They're scared of them like Satan's gonna crawl up out of the goddamn underworld and grab at their feet. Or like how I was scared of Barney grabbing my legs and pulling me under the bed and eating me, okay, at age 5, all right? They're scared of it like that. So I want to know what you guys think of why that, what has happened? Why are people so scared of child predators now? For hundreds of years, they were in existence, they were a problem, but now it seems like somehow they're everywhere. Like there's just millions of them in a line to get in trouble while on the internet. I don't get it, okay? Everywhere I look, I keep seeing the same horse shit over and over and over again. It's always this. It's not, oh, my favorite YouTuber's a serial killer, okay? It's not, oh, my favorite YouTuber robbed a bank, or maybe they got caught for fraud and, oh man, he can't post videos anymore, that sucks. Or hell, even something basic like my favorite entertainer is a tax cheat and he got caught. Can't plead insanity for that, okay? No, it's always they're a child predator. What the hell, right? I mean, you've got Dr. Disrespect, you've got freaking Yandere Dev, you got EDP. They're all the same thing. Where are they all coming from? And more importantly, why are people scared to death of them? Okay? Now, I understand the fear of it, especially if you have kids. But they're just a man or woman, okay? There's still that chick with the ukulele, okay? She's a predator too. There's another one right there I just thought of. Let's see. Pedro said, oh, you're right about that too. Let's see. Yukari said probably Discord or Roblox, honestly, but social media as a whole is also filled with it. Actually, never mind. It all started from EDP where we started worrying about it. I believe, or Omegle too. Well, Omegle always had that crap. So, I mean, that's nothing new. Same with Tumblr. And kind of same with Tinder. I don't really know much about what's going on with Tinder right now, okay, for seemingly obvious reasons. But it's like, where did all this come from? And it's not just men. It's men and women. So where does it originate from? And more importantly, why are people so absolutely horrified of these people? I get that they're repugnant individuals. But the terror of it's unnecessary. It's paranoia, like I said. And I think that's the biggest problem with it. Let me make this very apparent for you guys, and I might turn this into a short. You can turn it into a short if you want. I will not stop you, and you can farm free views off of my content, okay? I really don't care about that element as long as it gets the message across to people. People do not gain power or control unless people are afraid of them. Does everybody understand that? Bad people do not get influence if nobody respects them or fears them. Respect and fear are not equals, but they serve the same purpose for control and influence. If you are afraid of somebody or something, it has influence over you. And so you might hear a lot of the time these people are labeled as monsters. Something doesn't have power until you label it as a monster. Monsters don't exist until you make them exist. So by labeling something a monster, you have given it a scary term. And now that you've given it a scary term and a scary face, it has the influence to incite fear over people. Fear is influence. It's influencing your emotions. By influencing your emotions, it is controlling what you think. People are able to use fear to control what you think. And the real problem is that somebody will be used as a scapegoat for the fear, and it gears their opinion to be more extreme towards something. If you don't understand what I am saying, let me try to put this in simpler terms. Let's say people are scared of EDP because he's a pedophile, right? He's a good old cupcake, all right? He's a cupcake hunter. People are scared of EDP. What do? They want to protect children because they're scared of EDP hunting them in their sleep or whatever the fuck, okay? So that's what they're afraid of. Because they have labeled him a monster, they have given him the ability to influence their emotions and therefore incite fear. Then somebody else comes along and uses a figure, a bad actor like EDP, and uses that as the basis for, hey, people like this exist, so we should try to protect children from them. Then, because that becomes the commonplace opinion, the fear of pedophiles and sexual anything has led people to be more compliant and complicit in the establishment of things that protect children. Hence why all this bullshit coming from the UK and the Commonwealths in Europe are all popping up in the first place. They're all popping up because people are afraid of child predators, which makes sense. You can't blame them for being afraid, and you should care about it. But the fear that they cause creates an overreaction to where people will seek something in desperation, and then the thing they seek is way worse, right? Let me see here. Are you saying we shouldn't care about child predators? You know that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that, for example, Roblox. Roblox is trying to simulate the idea that for some reason, so you remember the, what was it, Jadion? Is that what his name is on YouTube? I can't think of it. I don't remember what his name is. He has been stopping predators on Roblox for, I think, years now. And he has gotten 5 of them arrested, I believe, and 6 of them caught. I think maybe it's more, maybe it's a little bit less, I'm not sure. He has been doing the Lord's work. And Roblox has recently, I think they banned him. At the very least, they condemned him as a vigilante. Jay Schlepp. I think, but wasn't there another guy that works with him who was like, I don't remember, he had a name that started with a J too, I thought. Maybe I'm thinking of something else entirely and I'm just being an idiot. But anyways, yeah, Jay Schlepp, okay? He's been doing the Lord's work over on Roblox, but Roblox twists, whatever the company is that owns Roblox, they twist the narrative to make it sound like somehow by catching these people, he's somehow promoting it to happen more, I guess? It doesn't, there's no logical sense to it. But it's the fear-mongering strategy that works. And so people use that as an excuse to establish worse things because fear makes people seek desperate solutions, okay? And in their hunt for a solution, they will turn to things that are way worse, okay? Think of it this way. All this crap is not defending anybody, and it actually opens a lot of this up to, guess what? Corruption, okay? A lot of the people that enforce this protect the kids crap are also related to the Epstein case and keep that quiet. We all know what that means, okay? I don't have to explain the relevance and the connection between those two things. And so they're not using it in good faith. They're using it as a way to continue it under the radar, okay? And so the paranoia of it, they stimulated the paranoia of it in order to get you to seek their solution, and their solution actually makes it happen more. Do you get what I'm saying? It's, I'm trying to think of a good example for this. Think of, let me see here. Think of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union under Stalin promised to industrialize and rapidly advance the country to the point to where they could match and even surpass the rest of the world. You guys all should know that based on history, right? However, advancing and industrializing implies everybody can advance, can have more advanced things, have food, supplies, resources, that kind of thing. Supplies, I mean more resources. Supplies implies that it's like in a military sense. sort of. So you understand what I mean by that, however. Okay, with the idea of advancing the country, of course, advancing the country is supposed to be good for the country. However, the people that support it, not that they had much of a choice because of, communism and an authoritarian state, and you'd be killed otherwise or sent to a labor camp, but you get what I mean by this, okay? The people would seek the solution of, yes, I will support my country in order to support my living and live in a country where we're more advanced and have better things. However, they actually end up supporting something that does the opposite, and everybody ends up starving under it and is in miserable living conditions all the time, okay? It's the exact same concept, all right? People use fear as a reason, and then they create something as a false solution to that fear. Then people flock to the solution, and it's not a solution, it's just a different agenda, okay? And so I don't know where this paranoia of these people came from, but it's overdramatic, okay? These people need to be prosecuted as common criminals, but when you give them as much attention individually as you do, other people will replicate their behavior. Think of it like if you had somebody, not that Markiplier would ever do this, obviously, because he's a great person, but let's say that Markiplier went out and he became a serial killer. I guarantee you, if he became a serial killer, thousands of other people would replicate it somehow to get attention, and they would create some sort of cult group for it, like a bunch of Ghostface killers, okay? I guarantee that would happen, and it would get publicity, and more people would do it. Better example that I just thought of and remembered, that's clearly better, school shootings. Because school shootings get publicity, people do them more. You didn't have all of this public drama over school shootings before, and therefore, they didn't happen as much. Same thing with serial killers. Serial killers exist because they love attention. Almost, that's like the case with 98% of them, I would say, if not all of them. They love attention. They love publicity. Some more than others, but they do. That's why they write things to the police. They write letters. They have calling cards. They kill people in the same ways as always, right? I'm thinking of like John Wayne Gacy, okay? He has the same memo every single time, okay? Or BDK, you would always send stuff to the police, okay? Or send little, gimmicks to keep them on his trail and keep him in the spotlight, but then he'd get bored and then he'd go do it 10 years later or whatever, right? And it's the same thing. Publicity makes it happen more because people love attention, okay? So a lot of the time, these people do this crap or end up being in the spotlight for this crap because they just can't help themselves, right? And so you end up breeding more of it because of this fact. And then the antithesis to this is that people end up hating it so much that they'll do anything to eradicate it. And then they'll turn to solutions that end up screwing everybody, and then it happens more. For example, you can't save everyone. 10 people are going to be the victim of some kind of crime always, okay, or more. However, if your government takes full control over everything, over anything and everything, take it from the Soviet Union, crime may decrease on paper, but a lot of the time, I almost said a lot of the time, you can tell my mental state's deteriorating as I get more tired. A lot of the time, violence increases when you have more strict countries, okay? Now, this isn't necessarily the case in North Korea because they kind of treat them like cattle there. But if you look at, the Soviet Union, there's so much restriction there that, guess what, you don't have? You don't have, the freaking CPS to protect kids from their violent vodka-induced dad, right, or mother. And so you don't have that, but you've got large-scale laws. And so you don't get less crime, you get more crime, and they just don't report it or do anything about it, right? And so would you rather have 20 victims, or would you rather have 20,000 victims? But you don't know there's 20,000 victims. You think there's 2. Well, obviously, anybody who knows there's 20,000 doesn't want 20,000. If you think there's 2, though, you default and go, whoa, well, I'd rather have 2 than 20. It's what you know and what you don't know. So you don't know what kind of effect it has, and obsessing over things is never good. And so, with the common thought of don't think about it too much in mind, then it doesn't become as big of a problem. And so it almost becomes a theater of war when you get the predators versus everyone else situation. And so people always want to be the bad guy because the bad guy gets attention and he's always remembered. A lot of people are scared to death of dying a meaningless speck. And so they do things to put themselves in the spotlight. Or they make stupid decisions because they think nothing will happen to them. And so a lot of the time these people become more overt because it's so demonized. You know, it's kind of like, let me think of an example. It's kind of like how drug dealers will never go get help because it's against the law to do illegal drugs, right? And so in places where it isn't against the law, they're more likely to go get help, while in places where it is, they're not going to as often. You see what I'm saying? And so because it's so demonized, a lot of these people that you see online, they're put in the spotlight and that's all you see. Do you get what I mean? So anyways, lesson over. Any questions, anybody? Does anybody have any lasting parting thoughts? Any opinions? Any criticism? Anything? Do you know what Herostratus is? I do not know. Would you mind explaining it to me? I mean, I could also look it up, but, you know, that'd be kind of lame. I'd prefer to, like, hear your thoughts on it. Let me play some music in the background so it's not as awkward. I've been talking a lot, so it wasn't as bad till right now. As bad as in, like, you know, the silence wasn't killing me. That's my objection to the attention. Okay, well, then I guess I'll look it up. Herostratus. Greek arsonist accused of seeking notoriety by destroying the second temple of Artemis and Ephesus, yeah. Let's see. There's still a lot to look into. I'll bite. Let me check it out. Among the first structures to be built entirely of stone. Does anybody else have any questions? Or any opinions? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? I don't mind if you think I'm wrong. And I don't mind if you tell me if you think I'm wrong. Because you can say whatever you want. But just know it's not a defense for anybody. It's rather a criticism of everybody. You'll probably find I tend to criticize everyone. I'm never going to defend everyone. That's for sure. Let's see. Why can't everyone just have a Gewere 98 and be happy without liking kids or terrorists, and we all live in a utopia where we kiss a picture of George W. Bush every morning? That statement alone about George kissing a picture of George W. Bush already makes it a dystopia. Then you just get North Korea with their supreme leader. Nobody's remembered unless you eat the Mona Lisa. What? Bro, what? Pedro, any thoughts? WX analyst? Asher already left, I think. Or at least he fell asleep. It's one of the two. Anybody watching this stream ahead of time that's gotten to this point, feel free to leave a comment telling me what you think. Time to get munching. Pause. Ironically, damnatio memori often had the opposite effect, serving a person's memory rather than erasing it. You don't say. Oh, here we go. This statement summarizes it. Herostratus, for his part, is now far more famous than the temple's talented builders. You're correct. Austin Bear is absolutely correct. Wait a minute. I think you thought this was an objection, but I think we're agreeing. He burned down a wonder of the world to be remembered. He isn't remembered. Oh. Isn't that paradoxical? Because I'm reading an article about him. Therefore, he is remembered. I seem to have missed the point. Because I'm reading about the guy who is supposedly forgotten about. That's like being 300 years in the future, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, that guy, the Everyman. Nobody remembers his name. You just say it. Yeah, guy had 77 subscribers. Yeah, and my great grandfather was one of them. His name was Pedro. Lived in Texas. Texas is now used as a giant market for bananas and fruit." I say bananas and fruit, as if I couldn't have just said fruit and vegetables and other greens. Not that well, yeah. Dude, when I'm tired, I might as well be drunk, because I can still think about what I want to say, but my grammar and pronunciation of things and what I say is just so off, you know? Maybe it's the tea. I can get drunk off of iced tea or something. I'm clearly joking. That's, you know. Alright. Same irony has been exploited by Don Quixote? I can never tell with these forenames. Miguel de Cervantes, English poet, Geoffrey Chaucer. Chaucer? Let's see. The year is 2066. The Earth is entirely Bucci's Minutemen. Hang on, Mini Minuteman. Never mind. That's way weirder than I thought it was initially. Must be the Brotherhood of Steel's flying around. It's freaking 2186. Huh. You think you have it hard with your pronunciation? Look at me, I have the problem every day and night until I die. Oh, I can write and type just fine. Matter of fact, I can write perfectly with perfect grammar up until about 3 in the morning, and then it starts to get worse. Talking, though? I mean, obviously I'm the only one talking here, so I never have a chance to, like, just pause and, you know, think of every single thing. You guys also have to remember, whenever you're talking in front of a live audience, a lot of the time you don't have time to stop and think about whatever it is exactly that you're about to say in your sentence. So a lot of it comes out kind of like gibberish, and then you put it together once you get to the main point usually, right? It depends, but because obviously your main goal is to entertain everybody, and so you're still focused on being loud, being, you know, energetic, things like that. Needed to look him up in order to find out about him. He's only known about the very few who care. I understand the message of this, but also the fact that I'm reading an article about him and that you know about him implies the fact, I mean, we're random Midwesterners, right? 2 of us are. Imagine how many historians and other people remember this guy as a result. We're talking about thousands of people here. Most people are not even remembered by a single individual past their death, like 2 years later. So, I mean, the message don't really hit hard because this guy is remembered. He's written down. His whole story is there. So, I mean, not really. Hell, there's a movie about it, too. Or is it a movie or a show? Let me see. No, it's just a movie with the name. It's not related physically, but it has a similar idea. Let's see. Austin is also Midwestern? Yeah, I said that. Let's see. Like from the 1860s onward, or maybe even before, we just hate on a surprising large demographic, then we move on? Pretty much, yeah. Well, actually, you said from 1860s on. That's been going on since the beginning of human history. Prejudice and discrimination is a part of human instinct, okay? That's a discussion for an entirely different time because there's way too much that goes into it. We're talking evolutionarily and historically. And even psychologically, there's so much that goes into prejudice. And some groups, now, let me say, I'm not talking about race here, okay? I'm talking in terms of, we were talking about pedophiles earlier. That is a paraphilia, okay? Which, that is a group, which means that it is a prejudice against that group, which is why my statement is about to be, some groups do deserve it, some don't. They may deserve it, but it's also still a prejudice, and it still involves discrimination. And so as a result, it creates social problems that surround it. And that's what I'm talking about with the social problems, is that you actively generate them. And in this case, they happen to be the perpetrators. But putting the spotlight on them only glorifies them more, you know? What's best is to have a group forgotten to history, which the thing about them is that they've been around since the beginning of human history, right? There's even mention of pedophilia in the Bible and being against it. And so it's like, yeah, those clowns have existed forever, but they never had the spotlight on them. Now they got the spotlight, and now you got weird crap that surrounds them. So anyways, hopefully I didn't offend anybody during this, because just know that was never my intention if I did. But my point was more to criticize everybody, you know, one side for glorifying them and the other side for being themselves. So, yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying. Most of the time I tend to crap on everyone. You're not going to find me defending everyone. I'm defending somebody, maybe, but I'm not going to be defending everyone. And in this case, I'm defending nobody. Similar to, like, Britain, I'm defending the people. I'm not defending their government. And so, and it all falls in the same lines, because that's what we're dealing with here. I mean, that's, like I said earlier, that all ties into the Epstein case, that probably, most likely ties into Diddy's whole freaking circus, okay? And all that ties together, and it's all run with the idea of sex trafficking in mind, which happens to include a lot of children. Let's see. The fact you have to apologize for potentially offending people you've never met speaks 1,000 words about the current online state. Exactly. And this is me talking. Imagine another person. They would never have dared to bring it up. And that's not saying that I'm better than them. It is saying that I'm more bold, though. Because I was willing to... And also, just so you guys know, that also implies that I trust you a lot more. Because I'm not scared that you guys are going to be like, shame, shame, and then like lift your torches up and burn my house down or something, right? You're not going to immediately dox me Reddit style. Instead, you know, I'm just like, well, you know, I'm not sure if you guys agree or disagree. I don't mind if it's either. But as long as there's no like silent, this guy's a piece of shit, you know, going on in the background. So, yeah, but it's like everyone is scared to death of offending somebody. And a lot of that is, and it's hard because everybody is offending somebody, right? I had Reddit pulled up earlier, but I wasn't going to read through Reddit because we already spent forever on those videos, even though they were very short. One of them was like 9 minutes long, the other was 9 minutes, and then another one was pretty short as well, it was like 13 minutes, so... yeah, I'm calling it 4chan the instant you jinxed it. Oh, we're not even gonna talk about 4chan. Yeah. Anywho, fellas, any lingering thoughts from anything we've covered today? Because we've covered a lot about censorship, a lot about freaks online, a lot about other stuff. So we got anything new? I'll play this short while you guys type that out, because I made this earlier today. This is "You Were Not Verified." I didn't put censorship in the title because I knew they would restrict it and limit it if I did. So instead I put "You Were Not Verified," which the verified is supposed to imply you were not age verified. it's a play on words so they don't notice, because it's a bot that does everything. Did you play Uma Musume? I actually did. I got 52 hours in it. Did I say 52 hours? Holy Jesus. No, it's not 52 hours. Don't jump on my cheeks. I don't even have that much in Kane's Wrath on PC. No, it's 52 minutes. I have 52 minutes in the game. What was it? Yeah, I will play the Killer Bee in short, just a second. I have 52 minutes in the game. It's alright. I don't know, it's not really my cup of tea. It's a little boring. I'm also not a big fan of the whole breeding process. Like, they're all female. That reminds me, why are all the Uma Musume female? Why are there no dudes? Not that I want to see the dudes, I'm just saying, like, they have to reproduce, don't they? So, where are the males at? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basic biology. Let's see, did you like it? It was alright. Hang on, let me turn out the music so we can...
I have something I want to give.
It's kind of quiet. Bro. You guys can always watch the short on your own if you want.
Of
Newt Gunray.
It's the bill. You
in Star
paid
Wars.
3 months. I'm leaving now. I will pay when I.
Bro, don't make him pay the bill. Don't make him. He will kill you.
I can't pay now. Shintao.
Let me pull up the comments. Hey, I was mentioning yeehaw.
Tastes like ass crack. Make bean curd out of him.
He was on Yukari's meth. Sleep with one eye open.
What are you? Don't try that out, man.
We got a good old Austin Bear here.
Didn't die. Okay.
It was really something to stream that movie.
Pay when I get back.
He's a little more merciful than Killer Bean.
It's okay. It's on the house. You don't have to come back.
Dude, this is the funniest moment in the movie right here.
Guy shooting that gun like it's a toy.
This guy just an infinite mag.
That was a standard mag. He ran out of ammo 10 minutes ago. Dude, he's still shooting.
Oh.
But
by the way, Megan, you're fired.
What do you just call him? All right, it's kind of hard to hear if you're not watching the short directly, but there you go. Okay, so here Yukari's explaining it. Okay, so Uma Musume were sprouted from birth defects, and Uma can birth human males for some reason, and their main partners are their trainers. Some horses are insistent. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I don't know. How about this? I'll just look it up later and maybe figure it out. That's possible. Trainers can be either male or female, but they can only breed with males. You can infect the horse. Oh. So it's like that. Okay. It's a little bit on the zoophile side. Gotcha. That is weird and illegal in the US at least. Okay. This was the short from earlier, just so you guys know. It's also quiet here, but like I said, you can. Oh my God, are you kidding me? It was at this volume the whole time.
Hey, kill it. Just kill the illusion. Kill it.
No, I'm not gonna kill it. They'll see.
They'll see what I want them to see.
You still need the cape.
Yes, Janice. I still need the cape.
Yeah. Also, hopefully the stream doesn't get copyrighted just for showing that tiny clip of the movie. But oh well. Okay. Anyways. I think that about does it. Let's see, what time is it? Holy Jesus, it's 1, and I started this when? I don't even remember. Okay, let's cut the, there we go, cut that. You guys could see a little bit of OBS. Wow, 3-hour stream. I'm not even kidding you guys, I expected this to be 50-something minutes long. However, it's a stream with me, so that was really naive for me to think that it was ever going to last shorter than 2 hours. Anyway, unless I was rage quitting, which we weren't playing a video game this time, so that's impossible. All right, fellas. Well, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, a comment. Hang on, what is this? Time for you to get to watch Bahaha. Yeah? Is that so? Total knee slapper? Definitely. You got me. Alright, anyways, I should probably get to sleep before I have a brain aneurysm and die or something. Anyways, If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, a comment. What is this? What'll it be, fellas? Mustard or ketchup? You guys are also having a meltdown. Actually, not meltdown. Psychotic breaks, more like it. Anyways, we should all get to sleep. If you guys enjoyed, I will be streaming Bigfoot. Well, technically it's later today because it's 1 a.m. But you get what I mean. Should be today. At worst, it'll be in 4 days. I have a weird schedule, okay? It should be tomorrow, though. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, a comment, and I will see you all in the next stream. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic life. Goodbye, everyone.